Hey, everybody, welcome to the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. We are, of course, very, very happy to be part of the Variety Sports Network. And I am coming to you from the Frank Walker Law Studio. Cheers, everyone. It's Christmas in April. It's the National Football League draft. Okay, I will not be by myself very long for those watching. Ian, of course, has to get all 300 of his kids to bed. And, Scarp's dealing with a little fatherhood type stuff as well. And for all I know, Ben is stuck in traffic on his way home out there on the left coast. But I'm sure these guys will be along very, very soon. And this is what we do for every year during the draft. We come on about an hour earlier, and the Steelers have been pretty routinely picking in the 20 something range. So there's really not a rush to get started right at 8:00. But at the same time, we don't want to wait and go at our usual 10 o'clock either, because you just don't know. We've already seen one pretty significant trade tonight. There could be others, and you just never know. So we try to get on kind of in between and discuss some of the earlier moves and get prepared for what's coming, whether it be good, bad, and different. And right now, I guess all three of those things are still possible. Welcome in to Burner. Yes, Ben probably had hair growth for men tonight. I believe that was right before his what do they call that? Those tribute bands for Dave Matthews. He probably had another one of those events as well. The Godfather's in. Tom, great to see you. And Cliff, of course, great to see Cliff. And Rattel is in and has 3 shots of Hennessy already in. Holy shit, we've made alcoholics out of some of these people. I'm very sorry. Just to recap, the draft kicked off with Roger Goodell riding a bicycle onto the stage with some of the Packers. And Goodell, he's just such a putz. I don't know what else I can say to do. I mean, I give him credit. He's embraced the booing. I mean, it's what they're going to do anyway, but be that as it may, it didn't take too long. And, I was trying to explain to my wife, who gets very frustrated watching the draft, because there's just so much, in between. And I tried to explain to her that a lot of that is the TV networks. They have to have the time. They have to have the filler, the build up, all that stuff. And believe me, in a perfect world, you would just have these teams in about 2 minutes, bam, 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 constantly getting those picks up, and we'd be out of here in an hour. But that's not network TV. It's not the NFL. They want to drag this thing out as long as they can. So what I can tell you is that pick 21 last year happened, I think, around 10:30 last year. But I feel like we're moving along pretty well. It's just past 9:00, and the Saints just made a selection. And I will tell you right now, that selection was not Shedeur Sanders. Oh boy, it's gonna get ugly around here. In any case, oh boy. All right. So let me recap before any of the guys show up here. Not surprisingly, Clay Matthews was, I think I agree with you, Rattel. Keep the politics out. And I was really, really pissed off for a brief moment there, until I realized he was just kind of spoofing. At least I think he was, when he got to his "the Bears still suck" thing. The last thing I want tonight is politics. I want to have fun. I want to talk Steelers. I want to talk draft, and you're exactly right. And so that's over with, and I certainly hope we don't get any more of that. So just to recap here, not surprisingly, the Titans went with Cam Ward, despite what Mel Kiper says, that Shedeur Sanders was his number one QB prospect. I mean, at this point, and I think someone mentioned this earlier in our Slack chat. Kuiper is starting to look a lot like Count Chocula. I don't know what's happened to the guy other than getting old, as we all do, but he looks brutal. The Jaguars traded up with Cleveland, and look, earlier today there started to be some rumblings that what the Browns were going to do is just start stockpiling draft picks. Okay, they aren't dumb most of the time, in that they know there's a better draft class of quarterbacks next year. And they're doing what I kind of wish we were doing, and maybe will. Okay, maybe we will, but they are stockpiling because they want to be able to move up and get the quarterback of their choice next year. They dropped down to 5th. They took Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. And it's some people kind of thought they were going to try to drop out of that and maybe go down as far as 10, but they didn't. They stuck there. They took the defensive lineman. As far as the Jaguars, they moved up. They take the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter, and not far from his hometown. So very interesting there to see what Jacksonville does with him. The Giants played it good. They for the Giants, they did well. They got Abdul Carter. They got their pass rusher for the next 10 years. The Patriots kind of stuck to their board. They went with Will Campbell, the offensive tackle out of LSU. A lot of talk about his shorter arms, but just a really, really good football player. And then at 6, the Raiders took Ashton Genty, which, tell you what, they've kind of been, gearing towards that over the last week or two. Kind of sounded like that's what they were going to do. The Jets took Armand Membo, the very big athletic offensive tackle from Missouri. And did I see that correctly? The Jets now have taken more offensive linemen in the first round than anybody, I think, since like 2020 or something like that. The Panthers got a little bit of help for Bryce Young. Tetaroya McMillan, big, tall, athletic kid out of Arizona. He's going to be there in Carolina. And then the Saints, unfortunately, did not take Shedeur Sanders, and they instead went with offensive lineman Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. And so the Bears, I'm assuming by Aaron's comment, where did my cursor go? Aaron's comment here, the Bears must have already selected, and it hasn't updated on my screen yet. Allow me to do that real quick here. And things are going to get interesting now, everybody, because who's going to fall here. Okay. And it's going to be Sanders. I still think, I said this on Twitter a little while ago, I think that Tomlin, the fact that he specifically mentioned Sanders, and he was asked about him, so I can't say that he brought him up, but he was asked. But he did talk a little bit extended, if you will, about Sanders. I think it's smoke. I don't think we're taking him, but I am preparing myself. I totally feeling the vibes. I am preparing myself if they do. Okay, if they do indeed. So yeah, I am just kind of strolling through along here. I expect the guys here shortly. I hope everybody's having a great night. Bill, good to see you back, buddy. Hope everything's good down there your way. Godfather says the schedule release will be May 14th. That is that is nuts, isn't it? To think that we look that forward to the schedule coming out, but we really do. You get through the Super Bowl, you hit the combine, you hit the draft, then it's the schedule release, and the NFL. You say whatever the hell you want to say about the NFL, man. They have totally figured this shit out as far as keeping everybody on the edge of their seat 365 days a year. They just do. And kudos to whoever it is that does it. I know the other professional leagues wish they could do that, but they can't. Yeah, Bill, I agree. I really want to rebuild this roster. I would love, so ideally, I would love for the Steelers to trade down, and it's gotta be, it's gotta be pretty darn good, and you've got to have a partner to move down. You just do, and so we can say we want him to trade down all night long. But the fact of the matter is, they need somebody to do that with. And that would be my goal number one. Goal number two would be defensive line. And again, if suddenly, Harmon's gone and if Kenneth Grant somehow is gone, then I'm okay with maybe going in a different direction too. But this is going to be really, really interesting. We're roughly 10 picks out here, and we'll see. But those would be my goals, and we're going to be with you again tomorrow night. We might be a little later tomorrow night, just simply because we don't have a second round pick. Cross your fingers. Let's see if we can find a way to get one. Trade George Pickens. But we'll see. Mr. Football Beer, yes, I am quite animated. I have been amping myself up for this for weeks. Will I be able to keep this up for the next 2 or 3 hours? No, I will not. That's why I have alcohol. And I have already sent numerous messages to my partners in crime to hurry their asses up, because I am going to be winded after a while here. I'm tremendously out of shape. But be that as it may, I'm going to give the best effort I can. The Bears have selected the second Michigan player to come off the board tonight, Colston Loveland. Look, I see Aaron's comment here. Loveland over Warren, a little bit disgusting. I agree with you. I think Warren is more of an impact guy. I think he does a little bit more for you across the board. Blocking, receiving. My God, the guy can take a snap and go that route with it, the old wildcat, if you will. But I think the thing with Loveland is that they just think he's more of an offensive threat, maybe. And anyway, I can stop talking for a minute because Ian is joining the show. Thank God. I've been talking for 12 straight minutes. I'm about dead here, Ian. Thank you so much. But we're just getting everybody updated, and the Bears have just selected Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. How are you? Go ahead, talk.
I am good. I am still catching up on things. My 2 older boys had volleyball games tonight, and I came home, got the girls to bed, and then, big boys can take care of themselves, right? But, the younger ones needed a little help to get into bed.
Absolutely.
So I got them to bed, hopped on here, trying to catch up with the draft stuff. So I see that the Saints took a offensive lineman, Banks, from right? They took Banks from Texas. Yeah, kind of a swing tackle guard, a little short armed for a tackle, but I mean, really aggressive run blocker. But this goes back to what we were talking about both on Slack and in previous shows, that Rattel with Ian Banks getting number 12 to bed. That's pretty funny. But that, reports that the Saints like this quarterback or the Giants like this quarterback. There was no guarantee they were taking these guys in the top 10. They all have picks at the top of the second round. They could trade back up into the first round, which I've been saying for a while was my ideal scenario of, the Steelers dealing away pick number 21 to the Saints, the Giants, someone else who wants to come back up and take a quarterback. So Dart, Sanders falling. I hope we don't do something stupid, right? That it's, I hope we don't do something stupid and take one of those guys rather than trying to, because we've all said, right? And I know Ben's not here, so I have no one to interrupt me, and I'm trying to
get your words in now, buddy.
Exactly. We'll be on for 3 hours tonight, but once Ben gets on, I'll be strapped for time. So where I was going with this was that Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart are not ready to start this year. No. Shedeur Sanders is probably a lot farther away from being NFL ready than Jackson Dart is. Dart, I actually went back and watched some more of Dart's tape last night. I think he had a lot of set plays, right? A lot of play actions, a lot of short screens, a lot of easy reads in that Lane Kiffin offense. We talked about that stat that 14% of his throws were true drop back throws. The rest were all, some kind of designed easier read or something like that. So that said, if you put him in an offense like a Shanahan offense, or even maybe what Arthur Smith ran in Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill, where, it's a running based offense. There's a lot of play action. There's a lot of easy reads. I could see Jackson Dart early in his career kind of being Mark Sanchez like. You remember Sanchez came in,
Oh yeah.
they did a lot of bootlegs, a lot
Yep.
of quick hitters and stuff, and just got the ball out to his receivers and let them work. And Dart's got impressive toughness, some good, a pretty good deep arm. I actually think he's a much better deep ball thrower than Shedeur Sanders is. And the kid's got better foot speed too. And so but that said, using a pick 21 on him, like he's not going to be able to play this year. You got to at least let him sit for a while. So if you're going to wait on a quarterback that needs to develop, why not pick other guys and then pick a more, polished franchise level quarterback next year? So that's where I've been all along. And if you look back, that's kind of what the Bills did when they took Josh Allen. The few previous years, the Bills had really tried to stock up and kind of get quarterback ready and build the rest of their roster. And that was actually why they traded out of the Mahomes pick, was that the Bills traded down with the Chiefs. The Chiefs came up and got Mahomes, and the Bills wound up taking, I think, Tre'Davious White, the cornerback.
Yeah.
And, we're really trying to build up the rest of their team to kind of get ready for drafting a quarterback, and then got Josh Allen next year. So we'll see what happens here. But, in an ideal world, my ideal world is we trade out of the first round entirely and kind of do what Cleveland did, get another future pick for next year. And by the way, Cleveland getting a Jacksonville first round pick, like the Jaguars have had more top 10 picks in the draft over the last 20 years than any other team in the league. And it's not even close. I think it's like 18 out of the last 20 years they've picked in the top 10. So getting a Jacksonville first round pick is like guaranteed to get yourself in the top 10 almost.
Yeah. I couldn't help but Travis Hunter seems like just a genuinely nice kid, hard worker. He seems like he really loves it. He was enjoying the moment. But I could not help but think, I'm like, oh, you poor young man, you are going to Jacksonville.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I know he didn't want to go to Cleveland, and nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
No,
but I'm just like, if this guy can put Jacksonville on the map, then he is absolutely a stud, because they just haven't been there. And like you said, they've been pretty normalized to picking in the top 5 or 10 over the last 20 years. But and that's the thing about the draft. More often than not, you don't pick where you go, and your job is to go and change these franchises. At this point, the Niners have just selected Michael Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, which kind of tracks.
He went before Walker then.
He did. He did. It tracks only in the sense that the Niners were going to go edge. It sounded like that was kind of their plan all along. So that part of it tracks, but Walker, I thought, was a little higher. Most boards, wasn't he?
Yeah, Walker was kind of a consensus top 10 player. A lot of people thought he was going to Carolina at 8, which I guess Carolina pulling the pick for Tet McMillan.
Yes,
which I'm glad he's not on the board. That we don't even have to worry about that.
I am too. I like it from the Carolina aspect because Bryce Young needs weapons.
Yeah,
if I'm a Carolina person, I like that. Okay, at least you're trying to make Bryce Young better, and that's a big part of it. Just for those that are listening, Schefter just said no assurance the Steelers take Sanders. He may fall out of the first. I don't think there's a lot of shock in that. I do subscribe to your theory, though, Ian, that I think some of these teams at the bottom, or excuse me, the top of the second, that do need quarterbacks could jump up and take him still. But no, I just think if I'm Andy Weidel, I'm Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin and these guys, you've got too many holes on this roster. You can't, as you were talking about, if you draft Sanders, if you draft Dart, they're not going to play this year.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get guys that are going to be there and on the field. And ladies and gentlemen, I think the third member of our studio show is just
He
about
pulled
here.
a Belichick, just having an empty chair there.
He did. He's Belichick. Robert's in. Hey, Bob, good to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight. And thanks to everybody that is watching. Don't be shy. Jump in the chat. Ask questions. Make comments.
Yeah, please. We're going to be here all night.
Yeah, we're going to be here a while. As I said in the opening tonight, I believe pick 21 last year was around 10:30, but we're doing pretty good. Picks are cruising along. The Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock, and that, of course, is Ben's favorite team.
Yeah.
He just pretends to like the Steelers.
This is a pick to watch, though, because if the Cowboys don't take a wide receiver, there's a potential for us to call them up and say, hey, you want George Pickens for your second-round pick? So, but we'll see. If I had to guess, I mean, Tyler Warren's still available, which that could, flip things around a little bit for them. But Matthew Golden from Texas seems like a pretty slam dunk selection for them.
There's still too many picks left for me to get overly giddy about who could be there. But I will say I'm already
Tyler Booker. They took a guard. Wow. They took a super unathletic guard.
Wow.
All right. Omar needs to get on the phone to Dallas right now.
Yeah.
Be like, hey,
well, maybe they've already talked about it. Maybe that's a discussion that's already taken place.
Yeah. The rumors during the day today were that Dallas was working on any number of potential trades, and just because they've drafted somebody here doesn't mean that they're still not looking at trading later on tonight or tomorrow. But that's a little surprising. Booker's a nice guard. I don't know that I would put him there. You guys?
I mean, he's so in a class of very short-armed tackles, Booker's actually a long-armed guard.
Yeah,
he's not quite big enough to play tackle, but he probably could in a pinch if he had to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting selection. But I mean, remember, Dallas has had a bunch of guys.
He's a masher
off their line. He is a masher.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that, and maybe they're gonna try to get back to running the football a little bit there in Dallas. You've got the most expensive quarterback there, but running the football might keep him healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, might keep him healthy.
All right.
But
so the Dolphins and Colts here with Tyler Warren available for both of them. Like I will be shocked if Warren makes it past 14 just because of how both of those teams
the Colts
operate.
will take him. I'm kind of surprised they're not already trying to trade up.
He's kind of been destined to be a Colt almost from the beginning, it seems.
I'm sorry, I missed a couple of picks. I didn't realize the Bears are taking Loveland.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
wow.
We were a little surprised by that. I think Warren is a better all around player.
He's definitely a better offensive threat.
And so I'm curious as to what the thinking was there. But as my buddy across the hall from me every day says, the Bears will be the Bears.
And the Browns were the Browns, right? I mean, they had a generational talent in Travis Hunter who had done things that nobody had ever done before. They're like, we'll pass.
There were two guys in this class that were absolutely can't miss picks in Hunter and Carter, and instead they traded out.
Yeah,
I just don't. Yeah, let's pick up some more draft picks for next year so we can fuck that up too.
Well, let's hope they fuck it right up into our laps because
Brownsy. Yeah. Now I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not going to celebrate this because what happens when or if the Steelers take Sanders? It's like, ugh.
I'll tell you what. It's going to make for an exciting podcasting off season if they do take Sanders. I'll tell you that right now.
I guess.
But yeah, right.
We were supportive of Kenny Pickett after they took him, even though we didn't really believe in him. And if they take Sanders, I'll watch and I'll root for the team. But
of course,
I'm not going to have any expectations of success
No, me.
I
either.
said today, I think that Sanders, the best comp on Sanders is Geno Smith, and that it took Smith a while to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them investing a high round pick in that.
No, I'm with you. I don't. I mean, I think you run into the similar problem with Dart. There's some talent, but man, he is so.
He's a really difficult evaluation.
He is. That system at Ole Miss, the Kiffin system, is just so predicated on those quick reads and getting the ball out. And I mean, what was it again, Ian? He's only like really truly dropped back like 14% of his throws. How do you evaluate that? I don't know. So what do we think here? Dolphins guys, you think this is Warren? They're going to sneak ahead of the Colts and take them?
Could be. I mean, they need a lot of help all over the place.
Yeah.
Actually, a hilarious pick for Miami would be to take a quarterback, but
I don't think they would do it. But
no, I don't either.
It would be funny.
Offensive line, maybe. I mean,
could take us in.
Yeah. Simmons from Ohio State could wind up going fairly soon here too. So, just because there's kind of, and there was this, chatter this past week about, offensive linemen going early.
Mm-hmm.
So it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this last year for us too. So just, Mark, feel free to turn this thing on and off as you want to, but
okay.
I have this spreadsheet to kind of track where things are and where they're going. So if you want to use it, cool. If you don't, it's there, just to kind of see from our SCB big board who's left available. Will Johnson from Michigan's an interesting one because he had an injury last year and then didn't work out at his pro day, had a special workout just last week, but didn't run a 40, but did some positional drills and some other ones.
Grant.
Wow.
Kenneth Grant.
Wow, that high? Holy smokies.
I was right.
Grant above.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of guys. Nolan.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, man. I did not see that coming.
I mean, I can't tell you how awful I would feel right now if I were an Ohio State fan, having seen 3 Michigan guys come off the board already. I mean,
so
you've got to feel awful if you're an Ohio.
Tyler Warren.
You'd have to think, right?
I think the Colts can't believe their good luck that they sat pat and they still got the guy they wanted.
Still going to get him. What if I threw this out there? What if I threw this out there? What if they took Shedeur Sanders?
I mean, they do have kind of a quarterback controversy.
I mean, they're flat out. The door's open there.
Yeah.
I think Richardson is kind of pissed it away in certain ways. In some ways, I don't think it's fair to him, but who knows the way this draft is going? I don't know, man.
Shedeur's like the exact opposite of Richardson, though. Richardson has a big arm and no accuracy,
right?
And then Sanders has not a limp arm, but not I wouldn't call it an active arm, especially down the field, and is actually fairly accurate in the short and intermediate range. But I looked at some Sanders stuff too. He got so many yards and in like the big feather in his cap is like, he set the Colorado all-time passing yards record. He got so many yards from throwing quick screens or slant routes or balls to Travis Hunter that Hunter then like took to the house. Like they got so many yards after the catch between Hunter and Joe Horn Jr. that I'm like, how do people I think people are just looking at the stats and like he threw for all these yards, he must be good, but so many of them were after the catch that it's like, did he really produce that much?
The other thing too, watching some of his stuff tonight was the fact that his receivers, which you just kind of alluded to, man, they made some plays on some balls that quite frankly were not good balls.
Yeah.
Balls that were underthrown. Sanders or Hunter came back on once or twice to make big plays. And that happens. I get it, but man, I think anybody just and I don't get Kuiper. I mean, he just is in love with Sanders, and I don't understand it. I agree. I think he's tough. I think he hangs in the pocket, but I would also argue he hangs in too long. and doesn't just dump the ball when he should. And I don't know at this point if you can coach him to do that. I don't know, but so the Dolphins take Grant. We suspect the Colts will probably take Warren, the tight end from Penn State. Falcons, what an interesting position they're in, because
Walker's going to fall into their lap,
right? Because I think most people had them taking the troubled Marshall edge rusher Green, or Pierce from Tennessee,
who also had some questions,
who also had some issues. So if Walker falls here, man, what a great day for them.
And especially being a Georgia guy.
Oh man,
Georgia.
Good point. Good point. Let's see here. So our top 5 remaining right now, based on
I forgot to list Walker there, but it's Warren, Johnson, Walker, Eamon-Wari, Golden, and Barron. And Walker.
And Walker as well. Eamon-Wari does seem like a Tomlin guy. I think that's why they brought him in. I think that's why they had the DB coach Gerald Alexander spend so much individual time with him at South Carolina's pro day. If he's there, it wouldn't shock me at all, to be very honest. The Dolphins taking Grant. You look at the division they're in with the Bills. Bills run the ball pretty well. Obviously, they got a good running quarterback too. But I don't know. I still find that a little odd. So, I don't know.
Colts pick is in already. I bet they ran to the podium to take Warren.
It's Tyler Warren. Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be the Penn State tight end here going to the Horseshoes, and
that's like a perfect fit, though.
It really is. He just seems like a Colts guy. And things start to get interesting as the Steelers, after this pick, will be about 6 spots away. And I'm sure Scarps right now is working the phones, talking to his buddies inside the facility there, trying to get some dirt. Not that I suggested he do that or anything, but I'm sure it's just what he does. He's a creative, resourceful guy.
So just to kind of summarize also where the Steelers are sitting right now, right?
Yeah.
That we're going to be at pick 15 with Atlanta. Steelers pick at 21. So in their pre-draft press conference on Tuesday of this week, Tomlin and Omar Khan said, they'll list out 21 guys that they would feel comfortable picking at number 21 overall. So they know that they're guaranteed at least one of those guys. They'll also have a list of guys they would absolutely not trade away from. That if that guy is there, they're not going to trade away from that guy. That said, I mean, and that makes sense, right? That's what all teams would do, how they structure things and set things up. That said, that list of we won't trade away from this guy might only be 10 players or 15 players. We don't know how long that list is. So it's possible that we get to pick 21 and they're like, well, 6 guys from our top 21 are still left. So we feel comfortable moving down 5 or 6 spots because we could still get one of those guys and maybe getting a 3rd round pick or something else back, because trading away that 2nd round pick for DK Metcalf, kind of leaves us in a big hole. The other factor is that so many guys we brought in for these pre-draft visits were kind of projected in that like late 1st to early 3rd round range where we don't have a pick. Right. That it's like a guy like, let's say, Travion Henderson from Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Looking at him, I kind of feel like I felt with Stephon Tuitt, where I was like, taking him in the 1st round would be a reach. Getting him in the 2nd round would be a steal. Now, we don't have a 2nd round pick, but he's one of those guys where I feel like he's a top 50 player, but I don't think he's a top 20 player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And that's why it's been so hard, looking at mock draft type situations. It's been really, really hard because you don't have that 2nd round pick. So it's like, what do you do? Do you try to,
trade George Pickens, especially to Dallas right now. Trade him to Dallas right now for their 2nd round pick.
Yeah, again, now here's my question related to that. We've talked all off season that, when he leaves, you're likely going to get third round comp, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ben's been all over this. Let Ben talk.
Well, no, I was just gonna throw in there. We think you would only pull the trigger on a deal if it was a second round trade, second round pick offered. Would we pull it if it was a third round?
A high third, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because there is a big difference between an early third and a late third.
A high third in 2025 theoretically has got the same amount of excuse me. Let's start back at the beginning. Let's just say he leaves and we get a 2027 third.
Yeah.
And he gets the biggest contract of any wide receiver in free agency. And, he's tiered up. So he's at 100% of whatever, he gets Jamar Chase money. Not going to happen, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he does.
Yep.
So we get theoretically the 97th pick in that draft. That's a third round comp pick in 2027, which basically has the same relative value as a fifth round pick this year.
Explain that, Ben. How does that work? You're
basically,
saying,
basically you take a first round pick as valuable as a second round pick next year.
No, other way around.
Excuse me. A first round pick next year is as valuable as a second round pick this year.
Okay.
Okay. So basically you take off a round because there's uncertainty about where you will be picking because you don't know how that team is going to perform.
Right.
And there's uncertainty about the quality of the class. So you're like, okay, that being the case, we deduct a round for every year. Now, I don't know that a third round pick in any draft class, really, because it's a day 2 pick, is ever going to measure up to a fifth round pick. But in theory, that's the way it is. But yeah, I mean, do you really want to wait 2 years to get return back on this guy when he's gone?
Yep. Yeah.
And that's been my take the entire time. It's like, look, a second or third round pick in 2025 has a great deal more value to a team in transition like the Steelers than a third or even a fourth round pick, because it could be either, and it could be a deal where the Steelers sign somebody and get nothing too.
True.
So that uncertainty, getting that back maybe in 2027 versus getting something certain now. I mean, if you drafted at Buka and traded away Pickens, to me, you're in a better situation than you were when the day started.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. And let's not forget too, this may play out over the whole weekend. That the year we traded Martavis Bryant, they didn't do that till day 2. So it's, just because they don't trade George Pickens tonight does not mean that he's going to be a Steeler the rest of the way. Like, it's entirely possible that something happens tomorrow also. So, and I completely agree that this is kind of the two ends of the spectrum, right? You could, on one side, draft Shedeur Sanders, keep George Pickens, and be the most unlikable team in Steelers history. Or you could draft Emeka Egbuka, who's like the most team-friendly, leadership-oriented guy, and trade George Pickens. And like Ben said, not only improve your wide receiver room, but improve the overall just vibe and aura around the team, which I know Ryan, when he gets on, is going to exactly. I should have waited to say that until Ryan came on, because Ryan was all over Twitter today, criticizing, being like, "Oh yeah, Pickens hasn't done anything, but he's got vibe and aura." So,
he's going to have that in his little byline under his name tonight. I can already see it.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on the Falcons. They are taking their sweet time here.
It seems like it should be a slam dunk pick for
you'd
them.
think, right?
They have the least sacks of any team over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like take Jalen Walker,
right? And just sign the guy up and let's move along. Arizona's waiting in the wind, baby. Oh, Dr. Foyle, come on, man.
I was surprised Banks went so early, to be honest.
You're not lying, though. I was too. That was not a name I expected to see in the top 10.
Yeah, Banks.
There was some chatter about it this morning that Banks could go earlier than people had predicted.
Yeah,
but I didn't expect him to go top 10.
No,
Oh.
I did not either.
Whatever.
Did not see that coming.
But
But
I think
you know,
with that, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we did the offensive draft
Yeah,
preview, not the
yeah.
offensive draft preview, but the
offense. Yeah.
right. That a lot of these tackles, Will Campbell from LSU, Kelvin Banks from Texas, they got really short arms. So like we all kind of thought those guys could be all pro guards if you move them into guard. But do these teams like New England using the number 4 overall pick on Will Campbell, which we had him as our top ranked.
Falcons took Jalen Walker.
Okay.
Oh,
that
good.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That was of the edge rushers available. That was probably the right one.
Yeah. So where was I with that? So, I mean, we as our SCB crew had Campbell ranked as our top offensive lineman on the draft board. So we obviously agree with that, but I think that, the long-term success of these guys is probably going to be defined by where teams put them.
Yeah.
And, like Campbell and Banks both played tackle in college, and maybe they can play tackle in the pros, but using top 10 picks for a guard seems kind of awfully high to take guards. Although Dallas took Booker at number 12. So
right. And God, why is his name escaping me? The guy, Zach Martin, who just retired from the Cowboys.
Just retired.
That was absolutely worthy of a top 10 pick. That dude's going to go to the Hall of Fame. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not every guy is that good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But when you can draft a tackle and stick him at guard and he's a perennial all-pro, I mean, shit, that's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I'd like to welcome Freak into the program, and he is already coming off with some bangers.
All right. No, Will Campbell actually reminded me a little bit of Alan Faneca. That like he has that
LSU guy too.
The LSU guy and ability.
33-inch arms. Is that what reminds you? No.
Yeah. That it's like Faneca played tackle for us the one year because he absolutely had to, but he was an all-pro Hall of Fame guard, and it's like I kind of feel like Will Campbell could, has a similar style that he's a road grader. He can block. He's got decent technique for. I mean, these college guys, all these spread offenses, everything they run in college, like the technique of the linemen coming out has been horrible for 5 or 6.
It really is a
now.
complete overhaul of the teaching once they get to the NFL.
When we were putting together our big board internally, the SCB big board,
right? Yes,
I changed all of the top tackles because they had such short arms to offensive linemen because I don't know where the hell they're going to fit. I know that Will Campbell has expressed a desire to play left tackle. He wants to play left tackle, but if you had to put him at left guard, he'd be dominant. So, I mean, again, is that a bad pick? No, it's a pretty safe one, So you go ahead and you take that guy. And he's smart. He's a good leader, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that's why Vrabel fell in love with him. Was just
no doubt about it.
Well, and let's not forget, I mean, Drake May was running for his life last year. So anything you can do to help him in front of him is going to be
very good point.
Doesn't matter if it's a guard, a tackle, whatever. It's anything you can do. And Ben, I don't know if, you noticed or anyone else noticed, but when I published our big board on steelcityblitz.com, I think I only had a couple guys listed as true tackles. The rest of them I did list as O linemen. I listed like Membao from Missouri, Simmons from Ohio State. I listed as tackles, but the other guys I just listed as linemen because I was like, I don't know where these guys are going to play.
Membao I see as a right tackle.
He's a right tackle.
A right tackle or a guard. Yep. And he'd be really good at guard, in my opinion.
And actually, that's why I'm a little surprised Simmons hasn't gone yet, because he's probably the best true left tackle in this class.
If you read some of the top evaluators, before he got hurt, he was probably going to be the top tackle off the board.
Yeah, right.
His tape was the best. Everything was doing well, and then of course he got hurt. And that's life. It happens. But he still could end up being one of the best. I see Mark Malone is in with a flying start. Is Scarps off masturbating somewhere or something? Well, he could be. He could be Mark Malone.
I thought that Mark Malone was actually Scarps. His
Scarps' burner,
the mustache.
Scarp's burner, if you will,
Yeah.
in the chats. I don't know. That seems like some shit that Scarps would type.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah, I mean, it completely runs right with that guy. Let me tell you. He must just assume we were starting at 10 tonight. I mean,
he's got 2 young kids.
I know. I'm just fucking with him. Yeah. Yeah.
Mason is light years ahead of Sanders. Okay.
That is true.
I'm going to disagree with you. And from an experience standpoint, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ability, probably not. But, I think that Mason is an accomplished backup.
Mm-hmm.
He can lead this team to 7 or 8 wins. I don't have a lot of faith in Mason, but I don't think he's terrible. I just think he's a backup, and that's what they're asking him to do. That's what they're paying him to do. So,
right.
If he ends up having to be the starter and they don't do well, maybe you should have managed this position better this year, guys. Not waited on Aaron fucking Rodgers to make him his goddamn
and that's and I hate this statement that the Rodgers situation is that going to impact how they draft. Bullshit. It has to impact how you're drafting. I don't understand why you would even say that. Just looking and updating from the SCB big board here. Will Johnson is the best player available. And, of course, you got Nick Emanwuri and Golden and Barron, both from Texas. Harmon, who I think has kind of been destined to be a Steeler. And, of course, Egbuka.
If they pass on Harmon and the Ratbirds take him, that dude is going to torture us for a fucking decade.
It really would be the most Ravens thing ever, wouldn't it? I hate to say that, but I 100%. Think it would be.
Yeah. So let's talk a little. Can you put that back up for a second, Mark?
Certainly.
I just wanted to kind of run through the guys real quick here. So Will Johnson did not visit us. I believe Terrell Austin went to the Michigan Pro Day.
He did, and again, that was the day that Tomlin and Kahn stayed back because Rodgers was coming in.
Right. And but Johnson didn't work out at that Pro Day. He had his own separate workout. And then Emanwuri, they sent.
The screen is on.
What? Hold on.
No, it's still there.
There it is. It's back.
Should be there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Here's a guy whose computer sucks.
Well,
no. So Emanwuri, they, as we said, sent.
Okay, Walter Nolan off the board to the Cardinals.
Oh, Walter Nolan. That's fine. I didn't want him. So.
Oh.
That is totally acceptable to me.
I like Nolan. I think that he's a good player. I think that there are some flags. There's no question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nolan had some of the most dominant tape for a defensive lineman in this class, but at the same time had games where he just completely disappeared. So it's like, if you're getting good Walter Nolan, you're getting one of the top players in this class. If you get like disappearing Walter Nolan, and it happened at the Senior Bowl too, that like even in like the practice reps, they talked about like, he would just like destroy a guy and then disappear for 3 reps. And it was like, is he just a guy or is he this like completely dominant force? And, so yeah. Okay.
I like motor. Something to be said for motor.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead real quickly.
Okay, go ahead. Then I'll run down what the Steelers did with these guys.
We're doing the AFC North pick next with the Cincinnati Bungholes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they take? Are they going to play spoiler and take one of the players? Take Harmon?
Well, if you see my
need
team
defensive help.
If you see my team needs here on the spreadsheet, they need an entire defense.
Yes.
So. Yeah. So literally anybody, like they could take Emanwuri, they could take Barron, they could take Harmon, they could take Shamar Stewart, they could take Jahad Campbell. There's an infinite number of players, not infinite, but there's.
I agree with Dom. I got a gut feeling that Will Johnson's going to the Bengals.
I mean, Johnson's a quality.
Yeah.
Quality.
He just feels like that's where he's going, but I that's other than that, I can't go any further. Yeah, I mean, we keep talking about us passing on Harmon, the Ravens taking him, and yeah, Rattel, you're right. Could be the Bengals that screw us over.
Yeah.
I'm
the
not
Bungholes.
sure.
So do you mind if I keep running through?
No,
how the Steelers
go
have
for
looked
it.
at some of these guys.
No,
So
please go.
yeah, so Eamon Worry, they sent defensive backs coach Gerald Alexander to South Carolina's pro day. And not only they sent him there, but Alexander ran Eamon Worry's positional drills that day. So he put him through workouts. They also then had him to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit, which kind of told me they saw enough at the pro day. They were like, we want to get to know this guy a little bit more. Versus a guy like Walter Nolan, who just went off the board, that they met with him at the Senior Bowl. They met with him at the Combine, and then didn't talk to him anymore. Like, they didn't have him for a visit. Andy Weidel went to the Ole Miss pro day, but so I was kind of like, wonder what they talked to him about at the Combine. They were like, yep, this guy is kind of off our board now. So, Eamon Worry, they brought to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit. Matthew Golden from Texas is one of just 3 players in this draft class who had Mike Tomlin at his pro day and came to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit. So there's definitely some interest there with Golden. Golden's not super flashy, but he's a nice kind of all-around wide receiver. He kind of does everything well. I think he can be a very solid number 2, which is kind of what we need now, having DK Metcalf. And that Golden or Egbuka would give you the ability to trade George Pickens. So if he's still there, that's fine.
Burden would give you the ability to trade him too, for that matter. I mean, any of the higher echelon wide receiver prospects at this point would give you the ability to trade George away and hopefully pick up another pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just real quick, Yinzer Gear, we love doing this, and I mean, we would do this if there was nobody here, quite frankly, because we have.
Yeah, it'd be us on Zoom.
Yeah,
so what do you guys think?
But thank you. We love doing it, and we love having you guys in the chat. This is free therapy for us most weeks.
Except for Scarps, who isn't shown up.
Who the hell knows what he's doing? In any case, yes, but thank you. And then one other thing, Ian,
got to text him.
Travis Hunter said something interesting right after he got drafted tonight. He said he was surprised because he hadn't talked or heard from the Jaguars since the Combine. Now obviously when you're talking about a talent like that kid, it doesn't matter. But the point I'm making is that we analyze all the time who went to the pro days, who came in for a visit, and all that. And sometimes it doesn't matter, because if a dude just falls into your lap, you take him.
That's true.
Maybe that's what happens with us tonight. I don't know.
And that was what happened with Juju. Remember, the Steelers were like, we met with him at the Combine. We like this guy, but we thought he'd be gone, and he was there in the second. And we were like, he's too good to pass on at this point. So
yes.
That does happen. You're right. And I think one of the reasons we as Steelers fans look into it so much is because of the past history of the Steelers drafting.
Ding, ding. Bengals took Shamar Stewart.
Oh,
wow. Goodness. Okay. All right. Now, question. Let me piggyback right on that. What does that mean for Trey Hendrickson?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Well,
I agree with you. You could put Stewart on the left side and have him rush strong side.
Yeah,
he's not that big a guy, though.
No, I'm just the reason I say that is because we saw a list today of the players with the most potential to be traded over draft weekend, and Hendrickson was one of those guys. And you just
traded or if nothing else, if they can't work out an extension, at least this gives them insurance.
Yes,
that's true. They have a pass rusher next year.
Yeah, very true.
Shamar Stewart missed like 28% of his tackles, and
he's also not a good run defender. He's not.
No. This is the most mind-boggling stat, was that Stewart led Texas A&M in pressures last year, but only had like 3 sacks. Like he had, it was mind-boggling
Seahawks
how
are on the clock and talking about trading. Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. It was mind-boggling how bad of a finisher Shamar Stewart is.
Yeah,
like it's just you watch his tape and it's like, and even his athletic testing was like, his size, speed testing all was very similar to Myles Garrett actually, but it's like the dude had hold on, let me find it because I have it here. Okay. Over his entire 3-year career, this is not this past year, this is 3 years as a starter at Texas A&M. He had 4.5 sacks and 11 tackles for loss in 3 years. 4.5 sacks.
So you're saying this is a potential pick?
He's got the athleticism. Well. He tests really well, but I wanted no part of this guy. I am glad he's gone because we brought him to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit too.
We did.
So I'm glad he's gone. So all right,
but maybe it was a juke. Like, I mean, the Steelers have done that before with wide receivers. And
yes, they
have gotten the Ravens to take some guys that they had no intention of ever taking. So
yeah,
I mean, maybe that was it. Yeah. And then again, maybe there was a medical question and they wanted their doctors to look at the guy. I don't know. It could have been anything.
Well, and that's another great point. And Ian, you brought that up this week in our chats that I don't care how much tape you watch. I don't care how much you scour social media. The teams know way more than the rest of us when it comes to medicals, interviews, temperament, overall pleasantness, attitudes. I mean, they're watching for everything. I mean, do you hold the door open for somebody when you go into a room? I mean, all that shit matters.
Yeah.
And
Seahawks are trading back
with
don't know.
Oh boy. Now, the one report today said they thought Denver was going to be kind of aggressive today, but they haven't really done anything yet.
Yeah, they were trying to trade in the top 10 supposedly like a couple of hours ago, and it didn't materialize. Yeah. They wanted to have a chance to get Genty, but I mean, did anybody really expect him to get past? Like, I didn't expect him to get past Las Vegas or
the Bears.
The Raiders didn't take him. No, not the Bears.
No,
I thought the New Orleans would take him.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had him Raiders or Bears, but that was just me.
I know Houston was talking about moving up too. So,
well, what was the track record on their GM?
Oh, he moves up a ton.
Tons of trades in the draft.
Yeah. All right, where was I here? I talked about Golden was one of the three. Jahdae Barron, cornerback from Texas, a little bit undersized, like 5'11", 190, but can kind of play any role in the secondary you want him to and has some really good ball skills. But Tomlin and Kahn went to Texas's pro day, so they saw him there. Harmon from Oregon came to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes.
So we did not send anyone out there to Oregon.
Do you think that Barron's size, and I know you just touched upon it briefly, but he's 5'10" and change. Mm-hmm. Not even a full 5'11". He's 190 pounds. Do you think that I look at the guy and I see a slot corner, and I see a very good slot corner, but I think that's all he's going to be. Do you burn a first-round pick on a slot corner?
So it's a great question, but let's also consider they did sign Eccles. And they also, of course, have Beanie Bishop, who did a nice job. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Maddox is joining the program, the superstar quarterback of the USFL. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Correction. Correction.
The Seahawks and the Buccaneers are looking to move back now.
Oh,
well, the Seahawks pick is in according to ESPN. So
okay,
yeah.
Scarfs, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. It's Tawny Maddox. It's like Tawny. So
that's what I get for not having my spectacles on my eyes.
It's
Tawny Maddox.
It's the slutty Pittsburgh version.
Any relation to Tawny Katane?
Nope. Seahawks took Gray Zabel.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's
the lineman from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Versatile guy, probably a guard from what I understand. This is getting fucking
guard, tackle, center.
You get to watch me update my spreadsheet in real time.
I appreciate that me continually to talk about aura and vibes this week.
There it is.
Because the younger Steelers fans just annoy the shit out of me, and everybody. And Ben is even
partaking such a hater
in the party.
It's like, hey, if you're going to mention Aura, I'm going to counter with Vibe, and if you mention Vibe, I'm going to counter with Aura.
Vibe always makes me chuckle though, because giggity, you know.
Giggity. Oh yeah,
Scarf's coming in strong here on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Gray Zabel, so he played offensive tackle at North Dakota State. Actually had some pretty big NIL offers to like 6 figures to transfer to a FBS school and said no, he's going to stay at North Dakota State. Yeah. But so he played left tackle there, but he's undersized to be an NFL tackle. The crazy thing to me is he played left tackle, left guard, and right guard. And a lot of people, including Dane Brugler at The Athletic, projected him as a center. And I was like, he's played 4 positions on the line, and you're projecting him at the one he hasn't played, which arguably, like, we've talked about this, like snapping a ball is a lot different than playing guard or tackle, because you have to, your reads are different, and it's
the exchange itself that is so difficult that, I mean, that's it's 2 people. We've talked about this a bunch of times on the show. It's equal responsibility between the quarterback and the center. But remember Jeff Hardings when he moved from guard to center when he went to Pittsburgh, and there was a transition period where they were having a really hard time just managing the guard, the center quarterback exchange, and Cowher was fucking livid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all know from the Kendrick Green disaster of like how hard it is to switch from if you've never played center before.
Yeah,
he played center like 2 games,
like 3 snaps or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Ian, can you maybe help us? What the fuck is Settlers of Catan?
So Gray Zabel in the picture of him has a Settlers of Catan board game box on the table next to him, which is it's a slightly more complicated board game, but like I really enjoy board games. I have friends.
You talking like Dungeons and Dragons here?
No. This is more of just a like sit down and play for 2 hours kind of board game, like more complex than Monopoly or things like that.
All right.
Here's what I'll say, representing the board game community. Okay.
The board game community.
If you say Settlers of Catan is your favorite board game, it's like saying Yingling is your favorite beer. It's like, oh, you have drank beer before, but you have not tried good beer before. So
hey, Yingling is good beer. It's okay.
I thoroughly enjoy a Yingling.
Yingling's decent.
It's decent, but like, okay, compare a Yingling to like any craft. Bell's Two Hearted. Right, like it's completely different league, right? So there are other much more complex and interesting and better board games out there that it's like, okay, you stepped up from Miller Lite or Coors Light, like, okay, you tried a beer, congratulations, but it's not but it's not
and it wasn't a Budweiser. Good for you.
My buddy Glod is all over it here. He said it's a gateway board game. That is spot on. It's a gateway board game to get you into better games.
Board game.
Yes, there are much better games out there. If you want recommendations, hit me up on Twitter. I'll tell you all about it.
Godfather, I'll trade you my wood for your sheep. This is a family show, young man.
That's a Catan reference.
Let's keep it clean. Yeah, I assumed as much. Yeah. Anyway, there's a good chance we might have a surprise guest here momentarily.
Steel Son again.
He might be joining us.
Nice.
Will he be as angry as he was when we drafted Kenny Pickett? Because that was amazing. That was amazing. By the way, he was spot on. He was like, we should have drafted Trent McDuffie.
I know. Believe me, I hear about it frequently.
Yeah.
We'll
remind him what he said. If you take the quarterback here, you take Malik Willis. And we were like, no.
I mean, could it have been any worse?
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah, you're right. That's fair.
I mean,
it could have been worse, but we could have had better draft picks.
Just think right now, when we play Cleveland, we're either going to face Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett.
They'll be drafted. They'll be.
I know, right? They have to.
You know what? It's going to be
Joe Flacco.
It's going to be funny when Flacco beats Pickett out.
Yes.
That is going to be hilarious.
Taryn, welcome to the show. Longtime listener, first time viewer. Fantastic. We love it, Taryn. Thanks for jumping on. You definitely don't know what you've just gotten yourself into, but we're glad you're here. Holy cow. And of course, Freak was in early.
But he went to Pitt. He did go to Pitt, dude. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Pick is in according to the
Seahawks
NFL.
took Ibuka.
Wait, no.
Wait, what?
No.
You mean the Buccaneers?
No. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. The Buccaneers took.
Oh shit, that's a good.
They took Ibuka.
Yeah.
Shit.
But what the the person who just tipped me on the tweet put the Seahawks in here. I'm sure he meant that. Yeah. Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka.
Well, there was a lot of speculation that Egbuka would go there and team up with another Ohio State receiver.
Well, that sucks,
bro.
Yeah,
I would rather like it. All right, so here's my top 3 scenarios right now. I'm going to throw this out there. Either at 21, take somebody other than Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
2, find somebody that wants Shedeur Sanders and trade back.
That should be number 1, honestly.
And then 3 would be draft anybody else other than Shedeur Sanders.
All right. I thought you were going to say take Shedeur Sanders, and I was about to say fuck you, Scarps. That's fine.
And this is a good reminder that like I have nothing against the kid getting picked. It's not his fault where he gets picked. I just really don't like it. I just don't. I don't like it.
No, he's not. Set aside his attitude. Set aside his ego. Set aside the circus that comes
Frozen.
with it. Look at his game.
You're good.
You're good.
Look at his game. He's not a good quarterback. He's not.
I appreciate his toughness. And I just think he holds the ball too long. I think he was very much a benefactor of some receivers that made some spectacular plays on throws.
Yeah, I mean,
that
throwing the ball to Travis Hunter is not that difficult, especially versus Pac-12 defenses. I'm sorry.
Good point. Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck they are now. Big 12? Yeah.
Big 12.
Who the hell's Mark Malone?
Well, we thought that was your burner, Scarps.
Scarps is thinking.
So
he's got that.
Ian, let's get control of this thing. What are the Steelers going to do here? Because we're 2 picks
Steel Son
away.
is here. Hi, Steel Son.
I don't know if you can hear him. The mics.
Oh, I can hear him. Is he talking shit yet?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So 2 picks away, and I mean Denver's been tied to Amari and Hampton for a long time. So I don't want to say we can assume Denver's going to take him. I'm very sad about Egbuka being a Buccaneer, by the way. That's
me too.
Yes.
I'm sad about Egbuka not being a Steeler, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was the guy I really wanted him to pick. I didn't think they would, but I was hoping.
But really, I mean, you've got. I'm guessing there's got to be injury concerns with Will Johnson here just because of his workout and everything else for him to have dropped this far. Eamon Worry from South Carolina, the super athletic safety is a guy we've talked about. Golden wide receiver from Texas.
Where's your spreadsheet, man.
Hold on, I'll pull it back up.
I shared it. It's there. There we go.
It's there.
Yeah.
Slacker.
And then Harmon from Oregon too. I mean, it's Mike Tomlin basically just watched defensive linemen at the Senior Bowl. So it is pretty obvious, and we've talked about it on this show often, that Keanu Benton, Logan Lee, who they drafted in the 6th round last year, and Isaiah Loudermilk, who probably won't even make the team this year, are the only guys they have on the roster under 30. So you've got to get younger at the defensive line position. And they have to. So Harmon would not be a bad pick. I mean, I'm assuming Denver won't take Harmon. I'm assuming Denver's going to take Amari and Hampton. But I here's the other thing, and I hate the fact that I'm saying this.
Okay.
The Steelers don't have a quarterback right now, and desperate teams do stupid fucking shit. And both Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders are available. And both of them came to Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit.
Yeah.
And this just feels so much like the Kenny Pickett situation all over again, where it's like,
look,
a quarterback fell right into our lap. We're gonna draft him. And honestly, I mean, unless they're absolutely in love with somebody, whether it's Eamon Worry, whether it's Golden, whether it's Harmon, I mean, those would be my top 3 right now. Unless you're absolutely in love with someone, if Houston or somebody gives you an offer to trade up, like trade down a couple picks, get another 3rd round, even if it's for a 3rd round pick, like trade down a couple and just like get some more picks in this draft, because we don't have a second because we traded away it for DK Metcalf, and trading down is a perfectly fine option. So we'll see.
I agree. You got to have a partner. That's all there is.
Giants are trying to trade back into round 1.
Well,
I
wonder if they want a quarterback.
So Bill in the chat says that Chris Carter, who is one of the beat reporters, is saying the Steelers have made their pick, which,
Yeah, and that's
probably
Chris Carter, the beat reporter, not Chris Carter, the former wide receiver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so Chris Carter on Twitter says Derek Harmon to the Steelers, which I do not hate at all. I actually
if that's the pick, I'm great with it.
Yeah.
Is it the real Chris Carter?
Yes, the Chris Carter that argues with you about Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yes, that
But
one.
I love
that
Chris.
guy.
Yes. We don't even know what Denver did yet, do we?
He must have a little birdie in the
He
house.
must have a real little birdie in
He
there.
said sources Derek
Okay.
Harmon to the Steelers.
All right. I mean, look, I don't think you can go wrong with Harmon. I don't think any Steelers fan should be upset if that ends up being the pick.
No, that dude has some really nice burst off the ball, and he can play in any defensive front. He can play in a 3-4. He could play in a in a nickel set. He can stay in, because that was the thing when we drafted Javon Hargrave. Like he had really good burst off the ball, but it took him 2 to 3 years to figure out how to play in nickel. And so they pretty much could only use him when they were in their base defense. And then he went to San Francisco after he had figured out how to play nickel and was really damn good. So, but Harmon, I think, can play both right now. And that gives you a long-term youth and depth on the defensive line. And I'm not going to say a replacement for Cam Hayward, because no one can replace Cam Hayward. But Cam Hayward's in his mid-30s. He's going to retire at some point.
Yeah.
You got to get younger at that position. Harmon and Benton together will be a really good combination in the future, if that's the pick.
Yes. And yeah, I would not hate it at all. That was my pick in my final mock draft for SteelCityBlitz.com. But in any case, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
What are you laughing about, Chuckles?
Comments.
Oh, comments. Yeah. Steel Son's reading the comments.
Oh, yes.
It's been a while since he's been down here in the podcast room. He's getting
dungeon?
quite a kick out of the. Yeah.
What does Steel Sun think about Derek Harmon?
What do you think?
I like him. I originally liked him or Walter Nolan, but Nolan's gone now. So
Yeah, I like Nolan too.
I feel like D-line was obviously the best pick for us. He's
Dion?
athletic.
Yeah.
Man. He's athletic, and I think that's something that I think Cam. One thing that is so undervalued with Cam is he swats the ball down so fucking much.
Yeah.
I don't know how a guy that big can jump that high. Physically, it's incredible. And so hopefully with Cam as a mentor, you get the same out of Harmon. I mean,
Fair.
You get the best mentor possible really in the NFL right now at that position, other than maybe Chris Jones. But I think Cam is a better leader, and I think he's gonna help mold both him and Benton, hopefully. But I won't lie. I hope if it's not him, it's Golden. I wouldn't mind Golden. I can't remember the last time we had a quick wide receiver on the Steelers who could take the top off a defense. At least in my lifetime, I haven't seen that. I feel like in a long time.
He doesn't. He's not old enough to remember
Ding, ding.
Limas Swede.
Broncos took Jahdae Barron.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
So Will
I'm
Johnson
telling
still on the board.
I'm telling you what. We can screw this up so bad. I hope Chris Carter's got a great source in there.
No,
man.
there's a
You and I
bunch of
both.
there's a bunch of people that are saying it now.
Okay.
Just hold on.
I don't want to get PTSD.
Text
if
the
ever-
people, Scarps. The fuck.
Hey, man,
Yeah, really.
Don't you have sources?
Where's your
no.
cadre?
I have maybe 1 or 2 birdies left in that building, and and they're like canaries in a coal mine, man. They don't got a lot of.
Yeah, I look, I would love a trade back too, but I'm telling you right now, if they can get Harmon, you take it, you start rebuilding that defensive front. I'm good with it.
I put this in the chat, but to Steel Sun's point about him being athletic, he's 6'4", 313 and ran a sub 540. Like guys that size should not be able to run that fast.
Yeah, and I was digging back into some of my previous tweets, which are always bangers. And
Ryan, were you
They've got
pre-gaming for the show
aura.
tonight?
I had
Aura and vibe.
I had a I had a drink while I was feeding my newborn, but not killing. So yes.
Did you make sure to get the right
Multitasking.
bottle into the right mouth? That's the
Correct.
important thing.
Correct. And on
Yeah.
February 11th, I tweeted, "Give me the most athletic D lineman at 21, a 3-down player who wrecks everything the opponent does," and I could see Derek Harmon doing that.
Hey, outstanding.
Shut up,
And
Melvin.
who the hell does Melvin think he
Who-
is? Showing
who
up
let
and
Melvin-
immediately saying we should draft Shador.
Who
Come
let
on,
Melvin on
Melvin.
the show?
Shador don't like it.
Rock the case.
So
Not
Shador-
going in the first
Shador's
round.
going to fall out of the fucking first round, isn't he? Or
I-
the Giants going to trade back in and take him?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
I
There's gonna be
I actually don't think they are, because I don't think he's very good.
No, I don't either.
Yep.
But
Steelers took Derek Harmon. Yeah, baby.
okay.
Is that it?
Excellent. We are in
Are
favor
we
of this
clapping? What the
selection.
fuck is this?
I don't know.
We
I
are
like it.
clapping because we didn't take Shador Sanders.
I
How
agree.
dare us agree,
agree.
with the Steelers on something?
No, I agree.
And hey, how about Aaron already sending the graphic? I will be posting this to the socials here in just a moment.
So does this mean we have a 41-year-old diva at quarterback now?
No.
Not yet. All right. Good.
So another interesting fact here about Derek Harmon. This is the first time that, well, I guess the first time in an early round that the Steelers have taken somebody who transferred during their college career. That I actually looked back at this, and
Yep.
all the guys they had taken during the Omar Khan era as GM had been guys who played all their years at the same school, except for I think Ryan Watts, who they took in like the 7th round or 6th round. He was their last pick last year. But most of the guys they took had just played at one school. Now, granted, we talked about this on Slack a bit, that transferring a couple years ago when they took Broderick Jones in the first round, they reportedly had asked Christian Gonzalez about why he transferred to Oregon and did not like his answer, which was why they dropped him on their board, and then ultimately didn't pick him, and he wound up being pretty damn good for New England. He was our number one prospect that year, by the way, if you remember, on our SCB big board. But
Yep.
I think transferring gives you the question to ask. It says, why did you transfer? Now, why Derek Harmon transferred was the head coach who had recruited him at Michigan State got fired. So he wanted to play somewhere else. And I think that's a totally legitimate reason. But with the current, the current way the transfer portal and everything else is set up, it's really, it gives teams a reason to ask a question. It's, why did you transfer? And if it's, I might have had to compete for a starting job and I wanted to go somewhere where I was the guaranteed starter, like, okay, are you running from competition or something like that? Like, it's a reason to ask a question. If it's, my head coach got fired who recruited me, I wanted to go somewhere else, I want to play, like, totally understandable on that front. So
Right.
It's not a disqualifier that somebody transferred during their college career, but it's a reason to ask a question, have a conversation, and find out a little more about what makes a guy tick.
Things are changing in college football, and I believe that also means that things have to change in the draft process as well.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, you're not going to find many guys that haven't transferred or something to that extent, right?
No, I mean there's very few. A
Yeah.
lot of them do. But it's kind of created this, like, to use a soccer term, like promotion relegation system in college football, that like the good players can promote themselves up to the, Georgia, Alabama's, Ohio States of the world, and the players that want more playing time and more exposure can go from a Ohio State to, say, a Syracuse or something like that. Not to specifically call out one player, but you could do something like that. Kyle McCord.
Well, maybe, right?
I'm just saying. So yes, Derek Harmon officially a Steeler now. This is good. This is very good.
The injury concerns. What do we know about them as it relates to Harmon? I don't recall hearing them the way I recall hearing them about Fatanu last year.
It's a shoulder, and it's I understand it's left shoulder, and it's not an injury that he even knew about. So I don't know that it's that bad. It's just something that came up in his medicals, and so we'll see. I mean, there's potential there. Hopefully, it's not a big deal. I don't know. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but
Ben,
yeah, this is the kind of defensive lineman that Mike Tomlin loves.
Yeah,
he's a penetrating one gap guy. He's going to get after the quarterback, and it's a passing league. I think that he's going to have to work a little bit at setting the base and being able to at least one gap and not get moved out. But he's got long arms. The dude could play offensive tackle. He's got 34 and change inch arms.
Damn.
Yeah.
Ben, you've been using your bookmarks, man. You're just fucking trolling right now. I love it.
I trolled the fuck out of some people. Yes. Alicia in particular. Sorry, Alicia. Not really, though.
Now,
she's used her on me. She's used hers on me.
I get it.
Times. I'm like, yep, payback here.
Now I don't have the live draft coverage on. I just have a tracker on. Bozick is claiming that Kiper losing his mind that the Steelers passed on Sanders. Mel Kiper needs to just fucking go away.
Yeah, dude, he's done.
He is like toast. Go away.
Who called him Count Chocula earlier?
I don't know, but it was brilliant. I did earlier on the show.
Was that on the show or was that on?
I think it was Dom on Slack.
Was it Dom on Slack? God damn, that was funny.
The
Count Chocula needs to go ahead and retire. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Mel Kiper. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the guy busts his ass doing his evaluations. He puts in the work. He talks to the teams, and he's the guy who created that pre-draft process. Yep. He's the original guy who did the amateur thing and ranked all the players, and he created his own lane.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate respect for the dude, but he's done. He is done. The game has passed you by, Mel. Time to go on with your life's work.
Yes, go enjoy your pumpkin pie every day, and do so without entertaining us on the NFL or ESPN, as it were. Okay.
Yeah. So Ben at the start of the show said he was terrified that we were going to pass on Harmon and he'd become a Raven and he'd torture us for a decade. So now he's a Pittsburgh Steeler and he can torture everybody else for a decade. So I like it.
Yeah.
This is really the Andy Weidel model, right? That what he did in Philadelphia, it's you build in the trenches. We took offensive line, defensive line so far in the first round of the 3 years that Weidel and Kahn have been here. Yeah. And I don't hate it. Like, you build through the trenches.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And they gave up 300 yards rushing in their last game. Okay. Yes. 300 yards rushing. That leaves a fucking mark. On top of that, you cut one of your starters. And you signed no one. You had to make this pick here because you don't have a second round pick. You had to make a defensive line pick here. Yes. So I love the idea that they did this, but I do have a question about it.
Okay.
Did they not take a quarterback here because they knew if they did that Aaron Rodgers would not sign in Pittsburgh?
I think that's a great question. I think it's very possible. But I would also, I guess I would counter with also maybe saying, do I really want somebody that sensitive playing quarterback for me?
Fuck no. I don't want him anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want him anyway.
No, none of us do.
I'm asking a question about the Steelers' motivation because it's a good conversation starter. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. No, I get it. I don't know. Scarps, what are you watching tonight?
What am I watching?
Seems like you're watching something.
CSI?
No, I'm just scanning the old sphere.
Okay. All right.
Artist.
He's reading Twitter.
That's
how he knew I was trolling people.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Twitter.
Was that Wayne's first entrance in tonight? Welcome in, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne. You guys in the chat are the best.
Yeah.
You guys show up every week and not only have amazing comments, they're probably smarter than us, but also like you guys have tuned in on like a Tuesday night in June when we were like, oh, we can't do Thursday this week, we're going to do Tuesday, and people show up for the show. Like it's incredible. You guys are amazing.
It's truly a testament to the lack of any fun these people have in their lives. But we thank you nonetheless. Yeah, I'm fascinated to see how the rest of this goes. I think somebody's going to trade back into the first round for a quarterback. Dart's still there. Sanders is still there. At this point, I think it's going to be really fascinating tomorrow to see what happens with George Pickens when you consider the Martavis Bryant trade happened also on day 2. So, man, there was a lot of stuff. Did the Chargers make a pick yet?
Here's the question, Mark Tucker.
Here's a guy.
What time do we get on? What time do we jump on? Like, what happens? What happens if between 40 and 44 the Cowboys trade number 44 for George Pickens?
Is
what? You're gonna be sitting here by yourself talking.
I'll hop on. If we make a trade, we're going live right then, right?
Yes. I will have it prepared. But what I was going to say is, do they start at 7 or 8 tomorrow?
At
7,
4 p.m. my
I think
time.
it's
so
7.
7, yeah.
And the pick time frame goes down to 5 minutes.
I think it's 7. I thought it was 7
and then 5.
Second and then
7
5.
and 5. Yeah.
Okay. So
and then it gets really fast on Saturday.
Yeah, with no seventh rounder, we'll just probably 8. I mean, because the second round will move.
Yeah.
I
mean, why don't we say like 9:30 again, and then unless we trade, then we'll just.
I mean,
yeah,
it's fine.
Whatever you guys want to do. I don't know. It's draft weekend, right? Like we're just on and talking bullshit for a while.
Yes,
like we're doing now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
We're not like cutting out right now, are we?
No,
I was just trying.
You guys were making it sound like we were done, and I
no, we're not done.
It did sound like we're about. It did sound like we're leaving the bar a little bit.
Yeah, it felt like everybody.
No. Listen,
I love you guys.
Really,
I'll see you tomorrow.
I asked the question because we have an audience and they have lives.
No, Ben, I get it. Everybody was kind of, well, I guess that's it for tonight. Will Johnson falling to a contender. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if he stays
healthy,
are
the Chargers going to run out of time here?
They got to be close.
I hope.
Oh, they just barely got it in. Okay. Because the ESPN clock was counting down, and it hit like
funny. What's
2
funny
seconds.
about the process now is they submit the picks electronically, right?
Oh,
so they know well in advance. Like that's how Chris knew what the pick was. They knew well in advance that they could make their selection, which they did before the Broncos ever went on the clock,
right?
Officially, because the NFL has to make it dramatic, so they just keep the timing rolling, and they kind of stretch it out. They gotta have ads. They gotta do all kinds of stuff. This is a big deal for them. This is a big moneymaker, right? So they just can't go bing bong bang, and
right.
The Steelers just send their. I think it's done by email now.
I was. There's a couple things I want to say, then I'll shut up. But they're saying Kuiper's going nuts right now about Sanders getting passed over, and I felt it like like Dion paid Mel Kiper to fucking like Dion and Booger. Sorry,
I had the same feeling at the beginning of the draft.
Not Dion and Booger. Booger and Mel Kiper were like just wouldn't shut up, and like then they asked like Louis Riddick, and like he was like, "Yeah, I'd take Cam Ward here." like okay. And it's like you know how like Cordero Patterson has nudies of Arthur Smith.
Yes.
Somebody got Dion got nudies of Mel Kiper's wife or some shit, It's just anyway. But then so getting back to this for our audience is Cliff. No, we're not getting Casey tonight. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Getting back to quarterback. Getting back to quarterback. then do we not think that maybe they do have something more? Did they not have something more in place with Aaron Rodgers than we're led to believe? Because to me, I think they might.
They might. And it might have been one of the deals where, I mean, Rodgers saw some guys last year who signed contracts, and then, Marion Hampton went to the Chargers?
Wow.
That's a good pick.
Wow.
Shocker.
Hey,
Harbaugh drafted
Najee,
a
how you
running
feeling, buddy?
Yeah, Najee's probably not going to love that. I forgot about that.
You know what, though?
Harbaugh picked a running back. Shock.
No,
right?
not that.
But you know what, though? That's actually good for Najee because he got a nice payday and he's not going to have to fucking touch the ball 400 times.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And he might actually be better.
The hell was I just saying before this? And I lost my train of thought.
Rodgers.
If they have it, Rodgers saw a bunch of guys who signed last year, in Kirk Cousins, for example, and then the team he signed with used a first-round pick on a quarterback. So maybe he didn't want to get, Kirk Cousins. And he was like, I'll wait and see. And if you don't take a guy in the first round, I'll sign with you. And if you do, well, no, I'm not. I'll wait for somebody to get hurt or some team who's a contender who needs a quarterback, and I'll go play with them. Kind of makes you wonder, though. I mean, is he gonna announce tomorrow? Yeah, I've decided I'm gonna go ahead. I did some ayahuasca last night, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign with the Steelers.
I'm gonna go play in New Orleans, but they don't want me.
If you were following me, this is Art now, not Aaron Rodgers. If you followed my comments this offseason, I said we needed to shore up our run defense, and I think we did pretty good with that with this pick at 21. So,
and I do not want to trade for a quarterback. Fuck it.
Nope.
Let's not.
I've been seeing trade
where's
for
this?
Cousins. If we do it, so help me God.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what? Steel Sun. If they trade a 2026 7th-round pick for Kirk Cousins, I'm cool with it. But if they give up,
what about the contract?
That's my question. The contract.
They got to pay a big chunk of that contract too. Agreed. A lot of it.
And
because they owe him $37 million guaranteed.
And based on how Kirk played in Atlanta Falcons offense, which wasn't terrible, by the way, he was the problem the whole time.
He was the problem. I'm not trading anything. I'll trade him fucking Najee's whatever he left in his locker room. Oh shit! The Giants are trying to get back in.
I said that.
They tried to trade. They tried to trade with the Chargers, and the Chargers picked. Now they're trying to trade with the Packers.
Yeah, but the Packers are picking right ahead of Minnesota. So do the Packers really pass and let their division rivals get somebody?
Good point.
I mean, Hampton's a fucking good back.
Yeah, I like Hampton, man.
Be happy. I like Hampton a lot. I love his balance, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that dude.
He's the guy that when he goes into a pile, all of a sudden it's like, shit.
He wants to hit somebody.
And then he pops out the other side. It's
yeah.
Like,
yeah. Reminds you of Beast Mode.
Hampton approaches defenders with violence.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's like, okay, if you're going to make the tackle, you're going to earn it.
Yeah.
Ian, and I'm sorry I joined late, but Ian, your handle tonight, trade Pickens to Dallas. If there's one, if there's one team that would reach on Pickens, it's Dallas.
Yeah.
And I've been fighting. I've been fighting with the Picketologist, or now the Pickens-tologist. I've been fighting. Actually, it's actually not true. Most people have agreed with me about you have to at least listen to some trade offers. Yeah. But there's still George Pickens has so much potential. So shut the fuck up. And I don't even care anymore. But yes, like Jerry Jones gets all nuts one night. He gets drunk tonight. He calls up Art. He's just like, "Hey Art, how about we trade 2nd-round picks tomorrow?" And Art's like, "Well, hey, Jerry, we don't have one." But sure,
I mean, they traded a second for Jonathan Mingo.
Mm-hmm.
There are people lauding Aaron Wilson.
There was a second for John. I'm pretty sure it was a second for Mingo.
That was a 5th.
4th.
There are people lauding Aaron Wilson's report right now. The reporter out of is that your draft? Your draft?
No, so here.
Yeah.
Oh, right. My bad.
I'm refilling my beer cup, but
okay,
I have to show you this.
It's the draft day glass.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah, it's got laces on it like a football, so you can grip it and drink it, and it's amazing.
Or throw it.
Chuck
Or
that
throw,
fucker
yeah.
across the room right now.
Yeah, good idea.
I need to fill it
So
out.
anyway,
Hold on.
There are people lauding Aaron Wilson, the Houston reporter right now, who put a report out about a week and a half ago that the Shedeur Sanders visit in Pittsburgh actually went really badly, and the Steelers had no intention of taking him.
Yeah.
Well, I said all along that when Tomlin went out of his way, now granted he was asked about him, but he sure did keep talking about him. I said,
And
it
he
was
never
smoke.
talks about guys that much,
No.
man.
No, and that's why I said I
Not
thought it was
that
smoke.
much. And it's like,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
It felt like a smokescreen. Like it felt like,
Yep.
hey, we're gonna talk about all these quarterbacks. And
okay,
that said, in Mike Tomlin's defense, a reporter specifically asked him about Shedeur Sanders' visit. I
Yep.
can't remember a reporter ever asking him about another singular player's visit, right?
well, we
And-
need a quarterback.
Well, we do, right? But like even the year we drafted Pickett, like they might have asked about quarterbacks generally, but I can't remember ever, a reporter asking him, because they, even when Kevin Colbert was here, like they were always like, we're not going to talk about specific players. We'll talk generally about like, whether we think this is a deep draft class at this position, whatever. But this was the first time I ever remembered him being asked specifically about like, what do you think about this player? And so he answered the question, and I
Right.
thought he answered it pretty well by talking about the guy's positives, but really all the Shedeur stuff really felt like, and I feel like the whole mock draft community kind of feeds off each other. That it's like, oh,
No doubt
Shedeur
about it.
Sanders visited the Steelers, so I'm going to
Yep.
mock him there. And then somebody sees that and like, well, I'm going to mock him there too. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. And then like 50 other people all pick it up. And it's like, yeah, Shedeur to the Steelers. Yeah. And then, and Mike Tomlin, he's been around this for a while, and he talked even in the press conference on Tuesday. He talked about like the game of it all, right? Like he talked about like, oh yeah, it's like another game. It's competition. We're competing, and part of the competition this time of year is lying to people. So part of it is like, and he even said like, I know you guys watch like what pro days I go to, and I know you guys watch
Packers
what guys
took Matthew Golden.
That's a good pick for them.
Good pick.
Um,
for
Man,
them.
they fucking draft wide receivers, don't they?
Aaron Rodgers got to be pissed that he was there for so long and they didn't take a first-round wide receiver, and now Jordan Love is
Christian
there too.
Watson.
No, Watson was like a third-round pick.
No, he
What the kid
wasn't.
from Kentucky? Who's the guy from
Randall
Jesus.
Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
No, he was a second-round pick.
Was he a second?
Yeah, they never took a first-round wide receiver.
Second
over
round
Aaron
was
Rodgers.
Watson. My
So,
bad.
apparently, Will Johnson has got a knee issue that has some teams concerned.
Yeah,
is
well, that's
why
why he
he's
didn't run
falling.
his 40, right? That,
Well, they
yeah.
they said
They were
it-
probably
it-
turned off by the fact that he didn't run his 40.
yeah.
And I think they largely said it's short term might not be too bad, but they're worried about the long term,
Yeah.
the that word.
Degenerative.
Degenerative.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nature of it. Yeah.
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 Ah.
So the guys that are left here, Will Johnson, obviously, Eamon Worry from South Carolina.
Yep.
Jihad
I would have
Campbell
loved
from
to have had
Alabama.
even Worry too. That would have been awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a little
honestly,
surprised he's still there.
I'm
I am
shocked.
too. But here's the thing about these two guys, like Eamon Worry, Jihad Campbell. We talked about this a bit in our pre-draft lead up. There's a
Malachi
lot
Starks
of
still out
guys.
there?
Yeah, Malachi Starks is still there. There's a lot of guys in this class who are tweeners that you're not really sure what position they are, right?
Mhm.
Like, is Eamon Worry a safety? Is he an inside linebacker? Is he just a box safety? Is Jihad Campbell an edge rusher or an inside linebacker? Is like what are some of these guys? And there's a lot of guys like that in this draft. I mean, even with the offensive lineman that we talked about earlier, right? Like, is Will Campbell a tackle or a guard? Is Banks a tackle or a guard? There's a lot of tweeners in this class. Is Shamar Stewart an edge rusher or is he a tackle?
Yep.
Like, right? Like Shamar Stewart's 6'5", 265. Like, he's kind of in between. So there's a lot of those like in between guys in this draft class.
End. I mean, he could play.
Yeah.
I mean,
what I'm saying is there's a lot of in between
Dupree
guys
played
in this
at
class.
270. You know,
Right? No, Dupree wasn't 270.
Dupree was 270.
Okay, but at any rate,
at his pro day.
There's
he said 69.
I was just gonna say.
Steel Dad's had some drinks.
No, that's just my high school humor.
Was Steel's son done with us? Did he get bored?
He departed. Yeah. He's
Okay.
probably
All
on the PS5 now.
All right. So at any rate, there's a lot of guys who are tweeners in this class, and those in between guys, like you either really have to like them at a certain position, or you drop them down because you have no idea what they're going to be. So I can understand some of these tweeners falling a little bit in the draft because you're not quite sure what they are.
Do you think the Isaiah Simmons effect comes into play here too? Because I mean, there were a lot of people that thought he was a can't miss prospect, great athlete all over the field. And granted, you know, he went to the Cardinals and he just has not found a spot. And you know, you wonder, are teams hesitant with guys like that?
I mean, hey, if 82 teams want to pass on Nick Eamon-Warrior and he's there at 83, I will absolutely take him in the third round of the draft, right? Like,
it won't happen, but
dude, the dude is 6'3", like 220, and ran a sub 4.40. It was like a 4.38 40.
Yeah,
and I the SEC as a conference like put an embargo on film of SEC games, so it was really hard to like actually find game tape of a lot of SEC prospects. But from what I saw of Eamon-Warrior, like he's 6'3", 220. He plays long, like he's got long arms, and just like he breaks up so many passes by just like sticking his arm out because he's so long.
Well, he's like a lot of guys that
long
play
and
that
fast
position. He's got good hand-eye coordination.
Yes,
you know, like Cam. You know, Cam's got big old mitts and good hand-eye coordination, which is why he bats down so many damn passes. The guy sees the ball. It's just like a good hitter in baseball. If you can see it coming, you can get in front of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's Cam.
The Vikings like immediately made a pick after Green Bay. They ran to the podium for that one.
Good for them.
Yeah. But by the way, look at I'm watching
Vikings
ESPN,
took Donovan Jackson.
Oh,
who?
What?
Ohio State offensive guard.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he played tackle at Ohio State, but he definitely, in my mind,
he played tackle after Simmons got injured.
Right. He had to kick out and play. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Well, boy, I did not. That might be the biggest shock.
No, I like Jackson I think he's going to be a good guard. I really do. I put him on my board for the Steelers. I mean, granted, it was after 21, but he was on the board.
Man, okay. Texans are going to be fascinating because they were a team that a lot of people thought were going to be trading up today. Obviously, that did not happen.
But only one trade so far, right? The Cleveland-Jacksonville trade.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of just stayed.
Yep.
Well, no,
the Giants are still trying to get back into the first round.
Is that the rumor?
That's the scuttlebutt.
Houston
the Rams will absolutely trade down. Well, that was for like a late round pick.
Yeah.
But
just what
the Rams always are willing to trade down.
Fuck them picks.
Yeah, exactly.
Just what I thought. Louis Riddick was on our side. He's not.
Oh,
he said all the teams passing on Shedeur Sanders are taking a gamble, and he could. And he said he could be the next Drew Brees or Tom Brady. So Dion, so Lewis looked at his phone and he saw that Venmo transfer for Deion Sanders.
It's got to be what it is. I mean, come on.
Jackson Dart. Where's Jackson Dart tonight? Jackson's playing with his dart because I'm serious. No,
I wonder how Mr. Milrow feels right now in the green room. I mean,
I cringed when I saw that. I cringed.
Dude is not getting taken.
No.
I don't think they trade Pickens now, though.
You know,
I'm not going to rule it out yet.
I'm not either. If it gets him back into the second round or gets him an extra third.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe you're right. But
Remember, a lot of shit happens overnight and in the morning.
and you know what?
So-
They
It
got,
happens.
but they still have like Luther Bird's still around.
Yep.
Higgins from Iowa State.
Both
There,
Iowa State.
there are a
Iowa
lot of
State
good wide
guys.
receivers. I mean, not
I think they could
great
do
wide
it.
receiver prospects, but good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that guy from Wazoo, the with Kyle Williams. Like he's pretty darn
he's
good.
sneaky good.
Yeah. Sneaky good is a very good way to put it, Mark.
Oh, I thank you. I'm curious to see what happens here towards the end. I agree with you, Ian. I think the Rams would trade down in a heartbeat.
I wonder how pissed off T-Mac is about going to Carolina.
Well,
I don't know, man. Is he really
would
that
be.
good?
you just got drafted in the first,
No, but the
10
dude,
picks of the draft, man.
the
You
dude,
should be.
he reminds me of Plexico Burress, who is
Okay.
a good but not great player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not going to be
Yeah.
a Hall of Famer. Kind of doesn't care. Doesn't watch film. Nope, I don't watch
Little aloof.
film. You know, I don't watch football. I like to play football. I don't want to watch football. You know, yeah, I have to watch film during like team meetings and sessions and
Right.
stuff, but I don't want to watch film otherwise. So like he's not going to go home with his iPad and like study.
No.
And that honestly, that to me, I was like, okay, that's why I dropped him on my board. Ian had to be looking at my board going, why does Ben have him as the third wide receiver for the Steelers? Because
Nope,
the guy's got an
there were-
attitude. And I went to Arizona. I should be loving the guy. But I'm like, this dude, I don't know.
Texans
trust that
trading
dude.
25 to the Giants.
The Giants,
there
found
it
their
is.
Giants have been
partner.
trying to
Yep.
have been trying to get back in for
So
like
they're getting
an
Dart.
hour.
You think they're going Dart?
So
It'd be
is
funny
this-
if they went Dart and not Sanders. Wouldn't it?
Oh
That'd
my
be hilarious.
God.
That'd
Oh
be
my
fucking
God.
hilarious.
I guarantee you, if Shador falls out of the first, Dion is going to go on a fucking rant tonight. I'm telling you.
Fuck Dion.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, yeah.
I hope I didn't
I
scare
don't
off
even
Melvin. I was just messing with him. He
Holy
dropped
don't-
by and-
shit. Derek Harmon's mother's on life support.
What?
So
that's-
he wanted to
sorry
get
to
the
hear that.
fuck out of there and go see his mom to go talk to her about getting drafted.
Wow.
He wasn't at the draft, was he?
No, but they
No, he was-
they had video of him at his home.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Holy shit. I feel horrible for that kid.
Yeah. You shouldn't be having to deal with that right now.
I mean, yeah, it's
Uh,
supposed to be the biggest day of your life, but your mom's on life support?
Wow.
She had a stroke. I think she had a stroke when he was like a freshman in high school or something. So she's been battling something for a while.
My God.
Somebody tweeted earlier today that like, and there was a clip of like multiple ESPN graphics that were
Mhm.
like, it was basically like when you get drafted, ESPN's gonna pull the worst thing possible from your life and put it on your thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Yeah.
I was like, why would they do this to kids? Like these are kids getting drafted
Yeah.
to the NFL. Like, why would you bring up that like, oh, like this kid's father died when he was 6 or what? Like why
Yeah.
would you bring that
Well,
up? Oh, are they taking Dart? They said they showed Dart hugging people.
Oh shit!
Is it Dart?
Yes, it is.
I shouldn't wallow in the misery of others.
No, I actually feel bad a little bit for Shador
a little bit.
because this is a product of his father.
Yes.
and the national media and the talking heads.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Not the band.
No question.
Not the band, the talking heads. But I know Ian.
Down the house.
Ian, I know you said like Ian. It's always like the worst. It's like Will Campbell got a boner at the 7th grade dinner dance. You know? and the principal saw it and shunned him. Like, it's like,
Oh man.
Campbell could not get out of his desk for 20 minutes.
So the Giants signed Russell Wilson and now are drafting Jackson Dart to
And
sit.
they got-
Dude, I mean, are you really shocked?
They got
That's not
Winston
the
too.
Look,
yeah. That's not the worst like decision in the world though, because as we talked about early on the show, right? Like Dart needs to sit for a year or
he
two.
absolutely has to.
So
sit.
yeah.
I mean, the guy didn't take one snap under center. I mean,
Yeah.
let alone a number of other issues from throwing actual dropbacks to actually reading defenses. I mean, he's behind. He's absolutely got to sit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna say two things, right? It's a couple things. I do feel bad for Shador because, like, you know, he obviously believes in himself, and who doesn't believe in himself,
Right.
And I think he might be able to be a borderline starter in this league, which is obviously not ideal
Kenny
for a franchise.
Pickett-esque.
Yes, which is not ideal for a franchise. But I can't remember what I was gonna say after that. I do feel a little bit bad, but like also like
I don't.
I
him.
just yeah.
Man, Cliff's a real jerk. I didn't realize.
He is. Cliff is right, and
No, he is.
you know, and I would say like
He had terrible interviews and then was non-apologetic about it. He was like, "Well, I tell
Well,
people what I
but-
think. Some people
and-
like it, and some people don't. Well,
and
look,
if you
you're
don't-
not your dad, dude. You can't do that shit."
And
Yeah.
if you don't think and I mean this, and if you don't think there's some narrative or agenda to push him to get drafted, I mean, the 10 minutes that they were waiting the Titans to select Cam Ward on ESPN.
It was all Shador.
It was on ESPN at least. It was all
Yes.
Shador. And
It
I'm
was
like,
terrible.
and I'm like, if I didn't know who they were taking number one, I'd be like, oh shit, they're gonna take this kid from like if I didn't know anything about the sport, I'd be like,
Yep.
they're gonna take the Sanders kid from Colorado. Like all I see are his highlights. It's like it's fucking stupid. So
Yep.
again, I do feel a
Giants
little
didn't give
bit.
up that
I
much.
do feel a little bit bad
No,
for
they
him,
really
but,
didn't.
but also like I mean he's and oh god, I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna say this now, and
Uh-oh.
and you could bookmark it or whatever. I actually do wonder how good Travis Hunter is going to be at this level, because let's not act like Jacksonville is an ideal franchise.
It was
Now,
my first thought.
Brian
Well-
Thomas Jr. is a dog, and he is. He's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
So that will
They've
give.
got a whole new coaching staff there. So
I get
don't
it.
know.
I get it.
I don't know how it's going to be. It might work and it might not. Having lived in Jacksonville, he's not going to love it. I can tell you that part of that. The city,
Nah, it's not
not a great city. But hopefully he'll get past that. And yeah, it's like somebody said earlier, like it was the Simpsons Twitter account, and they're like, yeah, Travis Hunter gets out of being drafted by Cleveland and ends up in Jacksonville.
Right.
He's riding he's happy, he's celebrating, he's riding a fucking skateboard and then falls down a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not
Yep.
like. I mean, if Travis Hunter fell to the Steelers, I'd be like, ah, shit, this guy got a chance, even without a quarterback. But
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
Yep.
but I agree. Like, that's a good point. They have a
Falcons
defensive
just
staff.
traded back in.
Like,
Whoa.
Lions, They got to
Whoa.
draft. They got to draft another defensive.
Well, you know
yeah,
what? Pierce
edge
is
guy.
still
The
there. And
Rams.
so's
The
Green.
Rams traded back again.
Fuck them picks.
With Atlanta?
Pretty much.
I
Yes.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
But
Who in the hell are they looking at?
back to what we were talking about, the Giants didn't really give up that much. They
Yeah,
gave up
what
their
what
first-
was the trade?
they gave up a second. They gave up their second round pick, which is 35th,
Okay.
plus the 99th, plus a 2026 third.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's not really. I mean, they didn't give up that much to get back in the first round.
And the Giants had 2 third-round picks. So they gave up one of their 2 third-rounders, a second, and a next-year third to I mean, they basically swapped their
So-
second for a first. So they gave
Yeah.
up one of their 2 thirds and a next year
next
third
year's
to move
third
up. Yeah.
To move up,
That's not that much. Yeah.
it's really not that bad. I mean,
No, it's not.
Well, and wasn't that some of the scuttlebutt earlier today that some of the return on trade would not be as big as people thought it was going to be? In other words, in years past, when you traded back, you expected to get a haul. But this year it was like you trade back, you might not get as much as you did.
There
in years
were
past.
so many teams trying to trade
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
this morning
Yep.
that you weren't going to get a lot. Now, as things turned out, because like the Giants were trying to trade up for an hour.
Mhm.
They were trying to get out of the second and into the first for an
Yep.
hour and couldn't find a trade partner. So they either weren't offering enough or teams just really liked the guys that they had there. Like Omar Khan specifically mentioned, we weren't trading out of getting out of an opportunity to take Derek Harmon. We were like, okay,
Yeah.
this is our guy. We're going to stay put. We're taking this guy.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm fucking happy. I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm relieved that they didn't
Yes.
take. I'm not going to lie. I'm relieved
Yep.
they didn't take Sanders because there was so much speculation about it.
Same.
Apparently, they never had any intention of doing it.
I don't think so.
And I like the guy they took. Although,
Yep.
I mean, Tomlin spoke in glowing terms about him in run defense. I don't think he's that good in run defense. I think he's kind of needs to work on that a bit. But in terms of being a third down defensive tackle, oh yeah, the dude is legitimate. This is going to be good. I am pleased about his potential.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
too.
Can't believe Will Johnson's still on the board.
Who was the guy?
Falcons took James Pierce.
Wow,
See,
two
they
edge
got their
rushers.
bookends now. Who was the guy? And I don't remember how long ago this was, but there was a player that was
Holy
a
shit!
first round talent.
The Falcons to get back in. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
The Falcons to get back in gave up pick 46, which granted isn't like a high second.
No.
Yeah.
46, 242, and their 2026 first round pick.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. And the Rams gave up pick 26 and 101. So the Rams traded back from 26 and got an extra first round pick next year. That's an amazing deal if you're the Rams.
That is.
You have to take that.
Yeah.
You have to take
no
it.
doubt about it. That's a
What I
great.
missed?
So
great
wait,
trade.
say that again. So it was 46
It
for
was
101.
46, 242, and their 26th first round pick. The Rams gave up 26 and 101. So late third.
Yeah. Wow. That's an amazing deal. For the
Yeah,
Rams, of
Rattel's got
course.
it right. Highway robbery.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
That is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's like when the Steelers traded for Jerome Bettis. I said that is fucking robbery without a ski mask. My God.
and
And
that's-
that seriously, that was exactly what I
Hey,
said
yeah.
literally that day. And then the dude turned into a Hall of Fame running back.
so
Um,
the Rams got another first next year, which potentially, if Matthew Stafford retires, could be the year they need a quarterback that they'll have 2 first round picks. Okay, got it. One of them being Atlanta's, who has Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins, which maybe they'll be good, maybe they won't be. So,
Well,
it's
I'll tell
still
you what
two-
worries
two
me.
first round picks in a year, you might need a quarterback. Is
Yeah.
a really good situation.
Suddenly, there's more and more teams that need a quarterback next year, which is going to make it more difficult for us to get one.
yeah.
Unless
Especially
we
when you
suck
get-
this year because we started Mason,
Yeah.
who sucks.
Well,
that is also an option.
there is that.
I mean, if we
Or-
suck this year because we don't have a quarterback at all, and the guy that we got, God bless him, he's going to do his best. But I mean, he's not. The dude's not a starter. He's not.
No.
He's not. Yes, Scarps is muted. This is perfect.
So,
We don't want to hear about how good.
Now
Mason
here's
is.
a guy.
Ryan, are you wearing a hoodie when it's like 75 degrees
doesn't- it
outside?
didn't
Oh, it was
say
like
I'm muted.
84
I'm
here
muted.
today.
Now we can hear you.
My basement is always between 50. My basement's like 59 in the winter, and then
It's
in
a
the
wine
summer,
cellar.
yeah, in the summer, the max is like 64. So
Yeah,
it's nice down here.
Same.
With Mason, they go 9-8. With Rogers, they go 7-10.
Oh, come on. I got those two inverted. I got 7 and 10 and maybe 9 and 8. But, I think that Rudy can win 7 or 8 games, and that yeah, and that Rodgers can win 9 or 10. And fuck. And that's only because Tomlin pulls wins out of his ass
Yeah.
all the goddamn time that that shouldn't happen at all.
So the
He wins
Falcons
games he has no business winning.
So Falcons took James Pierce from Tennessee. He's an edge. So the Falcons.
Yeah.
So somebody tweeted this. I think it was Matt Williamson the other day. From
about the Falcons sack.
literally,
yeah,
like Falcons are the last in sacks forever. For like, pick any 10-year period over the past 40 years, and the Falcons are last in sacks during that period.
I really think. I mean, don't you guys think they overpaid for that trade? I mean, I know you're desperate.
Yes.
You're desperate to get an edge, but was it worth that? I don't know. I don't see it.
And somehow the
They
Falcons
must
still had
love that
John
guy.
Abraham, who is like one of the
Oh
best
yeah,
long-term. Like John
Abraham, isn't he like 58?
Well, no. Okay.
Back
Here's
in
the
the
thing.
day.
They can suit up next week though and do better than the
If
guys they
you-
have.
Well, yeah, it's
Fair.
true. All right, so I've done this. So I say I won't say if you. When you graph out the like double-digit sack totals by players' age, the only one who makes it past like age 33 is John Abraham, and it's like 33, 34, 35. Like he had like in double-digit sacks is the best way to track edge rushers because consistently year to year, it's like 12 to 16 guys
Where are we
hit
now?
10 and a half sacks or like 10 plus sacks. So it's one of those statistics
Who did the
that
rat
year
take?
year
on the
over
clock.
year is still consistent regardless of how the NFL has changed.
Double-digit sacks, baby.
Double digit sacks, exactly. And like John Abraham getting double digit sacks at age like 37, 38 is insane. And the Falcons had him. And then like but still as a team they've been horrible at getting to the quarterback. So like I don't blame them for doing this. They obviously needed help at pass rusher, but the Rams got a pretty good haul for this too.
Absolutely.
Dude, if you're the Rams, you cannot turn that down. You have to be
No,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
I know. I was late, but I think the Browns got a good haul for. I know they gave up a potential talent in Hunter, but I think they got
Potential?
a,
Dude, there were two.
dude,
Can't
I
miss,
don't know.
Two
I-
can't miss prospects. in
I
this
don't
draft.
think hunters can't miss.
I just,
do.
dude, like any of these guys can suck. Like you don't know what is it
Yeah.
like. What is this? What is if a guy gets hurt or
Gets hurt, put the
or
money in the
goes-
pocket, things
or-
change.
or dare I say goes to a shitty franchise like Cleveland,
Like Cleveland.
or Jacksonville. Like, I mean, Jesus
Or-
Christ,
or-
you know?
Or as the Godfather suggests, he could get hit by a bus. Yeah.
That's
That's
what
all
I'm
right,
saying.
my man.
Get shot. Like Joey Porter.
Andrew or Glad's my buddy from college. He's the best.
Jesus
The Redbirds
Christ, yeah.
took Malachi Starks. Evan
I
Warry's
fucking
still on
called
the
that.
board.
I fucking
Evan
called
Warry's
that.
still on the
I
board.
fucking
Holy
called-
shit.
Did you guys happen to see Stark's RAS score?
It's not
No.
that good, but
It's only like 3.64.
no, it's not that
What?
good. However,
Not that bad, is it?
No,
All right.
it was. That's what I saw this
it's
morning.
pretty bad. Yeah. All right. That being said, Malachi Starks was homeless for a few years when he was a kid. Like his family was homeless for a few
Yeah,
years. So
yeah.
like him getting drafted in the first round is just like a really cool story.
Oh,
and like
of course.
I hate that he's a Raven, so I have to hate him now.
Right.
But like
He's
That-
a
that-
douchebag you were always destined to hate, basically.
pretty much like Kyle Hamilton, right? But you know, I kind of feel good for the kid being like, okay, your family was homeless for a while, like you grew up in some really bad shit.
Yes.
And now you got
absolutely.
drafted in the first round and are going to make millions of dollars. Like I feel good for you, but I also now have to hate you because you're a Raven. So, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy for the kid that he got picked.
Yeah, yes. And the human
Yeah, no,
interest
that-
side,
that-
absolutely.
Fantastic. I mean, and maybe he's a good dude who's playing for a shitty franchise. That happens sometimes.
He's got to wear purple for Christ's sake. Yeah.
I cannot believe Evan Warry's still on the board.
I'm surprised by that.
I am going to be very curious to hear the reports as to why he's dropping.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I
got to be
understand.
something.
I understand Will Johnson because there was injury questions I understand Jahad Campbell because A, inside linebackers sometimes drop, but also B, there was injury questions there too. I understand. I'm actually surprised Josh Simmons from Ohio State's still available because
Good for you. With that being said, fuck off. No, he's right. He's right.
Cliff is spot on.
He's right.
Cliff is spot on with this.
Hey, man,
Cliff says,
congratulations.
I feel good for you, but that being said,
it's so fantastic. Listen, you and I are enemies now. Go fuck yourself.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, I understand Jahad Campbell.
You broke my heart, Malachi. You broke my heart.
Injury question.
I know it was you.
Ben with a Godfather reference here at 11.
I know it was you.
Yep. Godfather or
The Godfather and the Godfather in the same room.
I will. All right. As an Italian here, Ryan, you may appreciate this or not. I will say Godfather 2 is a better movie than Godfather 1.
I agree.
Agreed.
Right. It's 2 movies though.
It really is.
That's why it's so fucking good. It's 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's funny is they
like,
almost
you have to have seen the first to appreciate the second, but the second is a better movie.
Yeah. Do you remember Paulie, the driver in the first movie?
Yeah.
They almost cast De Niro in that spot. They almost cast him in it. They offered him the role, but he took a different role instead. And I want to say it wasn't the Deer Hunter. It was right before that. He took something else.
Joe's not here, but the Deer Hunter was based in Clairton, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Yeah, it was.
Great movie.
Indeed.
Yeah. Fucking Christopher Walken, outstanding.
Yeah, my goodness.
Dude, everybody, every one of those actors, John Cazale was fantastic in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that dude was only in like 4 movies and he was freaking
7.
amazing in every one of them.
He was in 7 movies, but he's like legendary stage actor.
Yeah.
Before that. So
that's one of those movies I'm like, I watched it once and I appreciated it, but I will never watch it again.
Really?
Yeah. It's
the Deer Hunter?
The Deer. Yeah, that's a hard movie to watch.
It's hard to watch. It's very slow. It's like
no,
it's
intense,
slow.
It's just intense. It's like
intense.
it
is slow at times though too.
It is. The wedding scene goes on a little long.
Yeah. What's funny about
Jesus Christ,
Meryl Streep only did that movie because she was living with John Cazale at the time. He was her boyfriend.
Yes, that's true.
And she only did the movie because she wanted to work with him on a movie with. She didn't like the part. She hated it. And to be honest, the part's shitty. The part's awful. It's like, why would you cast Meryl Streep in this part? Really?
She wasn't really Meryl Streep yet, though.
Why would she take it? No, but she was a very accomplished, stage actor at that point.
Right.
And she had a lot of offers, but she took that because she wanted to work with him because he was already sick.
Yeah, that's right.
This is a hot take, and it's not football related.
Oh boy,
I do enjoy The Godfathers, but I prefer other movies to The Godfathers. I really do. So
okay, like what? Goodfellas?
No,
Goodfellas is a good one too.
Goodfellas is a good one, but I think A Bronx Tale is one of the
that's a great
movie.
I mean, I'm a big Bronx Tale guy. Donnie Brasco is good too, man. I mean, it ain't as good as a Godfather, but I feel like I don't know. I do like the Godfather.
Donnie Brasco, if they had stuck to the book instead of fucking around and trying to write a movie script out of it,
that's fair.
It would have been way better. But they had to make it. They had to condense the thing down into 90 minutes and not develop any of the characters.
We have a pick from the Lions yet, by the way.
Are we talking just straight? Ian, you were saying strictly Italian mob movies, right?
I mean, Ryan, I know you are a fellow Italian like I am. So that
you look so Italian.
Ian,
especially with his mustache.
Mustache.
Listen,
it's a me.
If I had to guess, I would say that Ian is Scotch Irish, but all right, it's cool.
Yeah, Ian is
Scotch Irish. His father was from Wales.
Ian is actually a very small part Scotch Irish, but Ian's mother is 50%. Hold on, sorry. Ian is 50% Italian. My mom is 100% Italian. Both on my mother's side, both of my great grandparents were like came from Italy.
Uh-huh.
So both sets of my
Tyreek Williams, god damn it. Fuck.
oh my goodness.
Lions.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
they needed
really
that,
like that
though.
guy.
Yeah.
You and I both, dude.
Yeah. No.
Well,
So on my mother's
Brad Holmes is a really good GM.
He's a very good GM.
Go ahead.
on my mother's side of the family, my great grandparents all came on the boat from Italy. So my grandparents were like first generation Italian Americans on that side. So I'm half Italian, but
Cliff,
on my
you're
dad
right.
on my dad's side, I'm Scotch, Irish, and German. So yeah. But yeah, but because my mom's side was all Italian, like I felt like I grew up in a big Italian family because my grandma, who was first generation off the boat, was one of 8 kids, and and funny story, since it's 2.5 hours in on draft night, we had a family reunion last year for my Italian side of the family, and you would not believe how many people. So like my great grandparents who came from Italy had 8 kids. And we had just found out that we were going to have our 7th. And you would not believe how many people were like, you guys got to beat Nana and Grandpap. You got to beat Nana. I'm like, you all had like 2 or 3 kids. Like, why are you telling us we got to beat Nana and Grandpap? Like, this is a lot of pressure on us who like just found out we're having our 7th. And like all like my mom's generation were like, you got to beat Nana and Grandpap. Like, they had 8 kids. You got to have, I'm like, guys, like, whatever happens, but like, okay,
No
hold
records?
on a minute here. Right. So, but it was very funny to have all these people tell us like, oh yeah, Nana and Grandpa had 8 and you guys are gonna have 7, so you gotta go beat them. I'm like, oh, whatever.
What do we got? Commanders on the clock?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Lions
Washington football team.
Washington football team. I always thought that was better than Commanders, but what
That
the
was
hell do I know?
cool, dude. What was wrong with that? That was cool.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm fine with it. But yeah, what are they going to do? I mean, they were pretty talented this year. I don't know.
They need an offensive line.
I would think some O-line help here. This might be the kid from Ohio State.
Josh Simmons, yeah.
Yeah, they need some O-line.
Or they could go Luther Burden, add another guy for.
Yeah, shit. They already got McLaurin, Debo.
Yeah.
I think that
they re-signed De'Ami Brown. They re-signed a couple guys too.
Yeah.
I think Luther Burden should probably last until pick 83. I mean, everybody should just ignore him.
That'd be
fine. I will say that. I will say this though, and I know
probably won't happen.
I know the Pickens-tologists won't like it, but they'll never trade TJ Watt. But if you want to get back into the second round, you have to trade a George Pickens. You don't have the capital to do it. You just don't.
Trade Pickens to Dallas.
Yes. So if you want to get back in that second round and actually make, because I mean, what's that? 60, 62 picks in between your first and second pick. I mean, you're losing a lot of opportunities to acquire talent. Yep. I'm not saying that they can't find the talent, but I feel like you need to figure out a way to get back into that second round. Whatever. Fuck it. You all know how I feel about Pickens. So.
Well, and again, I think tomorrow is going to be an important day because you're going to have teams that maybe missed on wide receivers, and those are the ones that maybe ultimately are going to be looking to trade up.
So the other thing I'll mention here
is make the trade with Pickens, I should say.
In their pre-draft press conference, right? Omar Khan specifically said, we traded a second-round pick for DK Metcalf, and I'm so glad we did that. Which basically to me means DK Metcalf is better than anyone we could have gotten at pick number whatever it was, 50 or 52.
52.
Yeah. Like it was basically him saying DK Metcalf is better than anyone we could have got at pick 52, which honestly I think is true. Like DK Metcalf is an elite wide receiver in this league. So that being said, like, as Omar Khan, do you then call up Dallas or some other team and be like, hey, George Pickens is better than anyone you're going to get at pick number 44, which is what Dallas has, right? You say, hey, George Pickens is better than anyone. George Pickens is better than Luther Burden. George Pickens is better than Kyle Williams. George Pickens is better than either of those Iowa State wide receivers that you're gonna, Jalen Noel or Jaden Higgins. Either one of those, right? Like, hey, trade us your pick for him, and you can have him. Sure, you need a number 2 for CeeDee Lamb anyway, right? You need another guy there.
Well, so it reminds you of the year they traded for Minka.
Right, exactly.
Like, okay, all right.
At some point, the guy that's available is better than anyone that's on the board. But for your purposes, whether it's taking, Luther Burden, whether it's taking Trey Amos, whether it's taking a running back who like Travion Henderson or someone like that. Like
the Ratbirds took Josh Connerly.
Wait,
sorry,
the
Commanders took Josh Connerly.
Oh, offensive lineman from Oregon.
Interesting.
Oregon. He can play tackle.
Yeah, there's got to be injury concerns with Simmons from Ohio State then, because Connerly was kind of another one of those swing like guard tackle guys.
Sure feels that way, doesn't it?
Dude, all the tackles were swing guard tackle guys. That's
except
why
for
I made
Simmons.
him. Okay, fine. That's why I made them all offensive linemen. I'm like, O-line.
Yeah, there's really not a truly dominant O.
No, I mean, honestly, the only guy in this class that I saw that could be a left tackle was Derek Harmon, who plays defensive tackle. I was like, these guys just don't have the body type. It's like you want the guys that got the long torso and the long arms, but are also tall.
Brett Coleman. For Brett Coleman, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah.
He's the film room on YouTube.
He said
he said my comp pick for Derek Harmon is Stephon Tuitt.
Oh well,
so it fits.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm being straight.
And I do want to say this. I do want to say this as we're leaving, and I'm going to finish this and get out of here.
Yeah,
you're leaving.
Gonna finish your drink?
No, I'm going to finish this
thought.
Diapers? Yeah, something like that. The amount of people this week that fell in love with Shedeur Sanders, and what's the term that the youngins use? Glazing.
What the fuck does that mean?
I'm not gonna just look it up on Urban Dictionary. But just the amount.
Wait, get Steele's son back in here to explain this to us.
Yeah, he who the hell knows where he is?
But just the amount
of text.
Just the amount of fans.
Hold on.
That were just like that. Not only said that we were going to take
Here's
him
a guy
at
who's
21.
Plugging his phone.
The fans that said not only are we going to take him at 21, but he is going to be the franchise guy. He's going to be that guy. The motherfucker still hasn't even been drafted yet.
Right.
And he's not going to be
funny
drafted.
To see how far he falls. He's going to fall completely out of the first, which I think is appropriate.
Again,
I have a mid-second on him.
Ryan, go ahead and finish.
No, I just want to say again, I do feel bad for him because I don't think it's him. I just think he was overhyped and over-celebrated, much like George Pickens. And George Pickens has still done nothing in this league, and Shedeur Sanders hasn't even been drafted by a team yet, and we already have Steelers fans crowning him. I just whatever, man.
Not now.
So
allow me to retort. At least George Pickens has one 1,000-yard season, and secondly, fuck Shedeur Sanders. He's a douchebag. I'm done.
Oh. See, and you always fucking get on me on Twitter and say I'm a hater and I'm this and that. At Ben Anderson.
Yeah. I mean, look what Shedeur Sanders was around, though. I mean, he's seen his father's videos. He's seen all that stuff. Why wouldn't he be an entitled prick?
He's not Dion, dude.
I know he's not, but That doesn't mean he doesn't think he is.
And I mean this, who doesn't want the best for their kids, right? They want, like,
100%.
because people are already circulating
100%.
the tweet from like spring of 2024 when Dion said that Shedeur was going to be a top 5 pick. And like, of course you want the best for your kids. Like, who wouldn't want that?
Mark, I'm really glad that you.
What I did? What happened?
You did. He just had glazing up on there. I thought I caught him.
Oh Christ!
Wait, where?
Ryan was like, look it up on Urban Dictionary. So I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And yeah. So,
Yeah, you get it.
Wait. We got Dom over here saying they are glazing all over him. I won't lie. I don't know what the fuck this means, guys. Now I need to know.
No cap, Ben. No cap. Ben doesn't know the slang.
UrbanDictionary.com, Benjamin, is
Jesus
your
Christ.
friend.
I think this is a good comment by Rattel.
Yeah.
I think that people are falling in love with this young man, and
I agree.
There's tons of talent, but man, he's not played very much.
I
You know
said
who's
this.
got tons of talent and hasn't played very much? Mr. Milrow has not played very
well,
much.
And I said the same thing about Arch Manning. He has family connection, as we all know.
Yep.
But you know what, man? I'd like to see this dude play more than 25 snaps before I sit there and say,
right,
you know, he's
I'm
going to be this. So,
and I'll say something else about drafting a quarterback. Oftentimes, when teams draft quarterbacks, it's not the first quarterback off the board that's the best one. It's like the second or third, right? Like the year Mahomes got drafted, like the year Mahomes got
Trubisky was way better than Mahomes.
Right, exactly. Trubisky was the second overall pick, and then the year Josh Allen got drafted, it was Baker Mayfield who's the number 1 overall pick. So, you know, sometimes, like, honestly, success in the NFL is a lot about, not all, but a lot about what you have between the ears.
Yeah,
and
100%, especially a quarterback,
especially a quarterback. So yeah, if someone else takes Arch Manning at number 1 and we wind up with Lenora Sellers or Newhouser from LSU, like, nope. I really like both of those guys. Like, I think Sellers and Newhouser from LSU are both pretty good prospects, and we'll see what they do this year. You know, there's a whole nother year of college that they have to go through, but it's still, like, just because you don't get the top guy doesn't mean that you're absolutely screwed, right?
Yeah,
Mahomes and Allen were both not the top guy picked in their year.
I just want to give Rattel some props because I watched that bowl game, that national championship game between Nebraska and Florida. I was there for it in Phoenix.
Oh man, that was a beatdown.
Tommy Frazier was awesome in college and couldn't do shit in the pros.
Yeah.
But as a college player, it was like watching him. And who's the running back? Lawrence Phillips?
Amon Green, wasn't it?
No, I think it was Lawrence Phillips.
I thought Phillips was later.
Lawrence Phillips killed a guy.
Can't remember.
Indeed, he did.
Anyway, so those two guys, it was like watching Frazier and whoever the running back was, and I think it was Lawrence Phillips, but I can't remember for sure. It was like watching grown men play football with middle schoolers.
Yes.
Like running through them and nobody could tackle them. It was like that. It was like from kickoff, it was obvious, okay, Nebraska's going to win. This isn't close. It was 2 undefeated teams, but it was obvious immediately that Nebraska had those 2 guys and they were so good that nobody could tackle them, and so they were winning. And you get to the NFL and everybody's good. And guys like Tommy Frazier suddenly they're not as dominant anymore. So it affects their psyche, and maybe they don't work as hard. I don't know what the hell the deal is, you know, but guys like that frequently don't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year were you talking about?
God damn, that was like 1990?
95.
95
at
was Ahman
95.
Green.
Amon Green,
Ah,
Yeah.
I had it.
Nebraska.
Lawrence Phillips
He was later.
he was the third leading rusher.
The Eagles are on the clock.
They
No.
traded up with the Chiefs, which is funny.
Why? That is weird. They traded one pick.
Yeah, they leapfrogged him.
That's
They
weird.
traded up one pick with the. Why would they do that?
That's weird.
That's
Wide receiver,
weird.
maybe? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
what do? I
Hey,
don't
can we
know.
trade up with you guys to take the player you want to take? No.
I'm so old. I remember when Nebraska football was good.
Ah,
Oh man,
Yeah. Remember the year that the 49ers? No, it wasn't the 49ers. It was 49ers traded away the pick to the Bears for a
Yes.
haul for Trey Lance. No, it wasn't Trey Lance. Who? Was it Trubisky?
well,
Was
No,
was
no,
that
no.
Trubisky year?
the Bears traded up to number 2. I think it was with the Vikings to take Trubisky.
I thought it was.
And,
I thought it was the 49ers.
The 49ers traded up a bunch to take Trey Lance. That is also true.
The Eagles. So the Eagles
So
moving
the
up.
Bills took
even-
Maxwell Hairston.
Yes, very
who-
fast corner out of Kentucky.
good corner. Yeah.
So why would the Eagles trade up one spot with the Chiefs
That is
to
weird.
get who they wanted? Unless they thought Kansas City was going to take who they wanted, but why would KC trade out of
Well,
31?
unless somebody behind the Eagles
Yeah.
was trying to trade up with the Chiefs.
yeah.
That's the only motivation. You know what I mean? Like you
That's fair.
suddenly you're competing with a team behind you for another player, and the team in front of you is willing to trade it out. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
what do you want? That's fine. We'll trade with you. What do you want?
I'd be curious. I mean, if I'm Kansas City, I've got the phones wide open right now. I wouldn't mind trading down out of there.
No, the only advantage to keeping pick 32 here is
You
that
get the fifth-year
option. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep, that's and let's not forget when the
Jihad
Ravens took
Campbell,
Jihad
Eagles.
Campbell
yep,
went
when
to the Eagles.
motherfucker, man, they got
They
get
find a way to get those
the
dudes,
rich
don't
get
they?
richer.
when the
God
Ravens took
damn,
Lamar
dude,
Jackson,
crazy.
like they traded back up into the first round,
Yeah.
and one of the
Holy shit,
reasons
dude.
was
Emin Warry's not going to get drafted on day one.
no,
Unless the
Well,
Chiefs take him, but yeah.
and
Sorry, I'm drunk.
no,
ish.
but one of
You're
the
not wrong.
one of the reasons for trading back into the first round, like the Ravens moved up from the second round into the first to take Lamar, was because the fifth-year option for a quarterback salary is so much less than paying an extension for a quarterback that like if you have an interest in a quarterback, just having that fifth-year option is so much less money than paying a 40 or
that's true.
50 million a year extension for a guy that it's worth considering, and that's why the Ravens did it. It worked out very well for them. But let's also not forget that the Ravens completely redesigned their offense to accommodate Lamar's skill set. And not many NFL teams have done that they've completely redesigned their whole offense to fit their quarterback skill set. Like
Right.
Baltimore is a rare case here.
Well, we'll hang on just a minute here and see what the Chiefs do, and then we will depart. And just again, we will be back tomorrow night. We'll post it to the socials as far as what time we're going to pop.
Yeah, what time are
on
we
and-
going tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm in any position to actually suggest what time we're actually going to go tomorrow night.
Here's a guy who's had some drinks.
Yeah, we've had some drinks. Again, the draft starts at 5 minutes or 7 minutes.
7
per
minutes.
pick. Man, and we don't pick till about the middle of the third round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh. Yeah, we might be able to wait till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we'll say
6
9
o'clock
for-
time on the Best Coast.
Yes, on the that place. Yeah, you got it, Tom. More drinking tomorrow. You're in, man. But yeah, Ian, are you going to do your best available tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll try to. I'll coordinate with Cliff and Dom. By the way, Cliff and Dom crushed it with draft coverage this year.
Yep,
He did.
I am so happy that they were part of the SCB team this year. They were excellent in not only like what they wrote for our site, but just like in the general chat of like
Very
improving
involved.
our knowledge of players. And
Right.
Cliff and Dom, you guys were amazing.
You contributed. You made a lot of very good points, which
Yes.
a lot of dumbasses who tried to come in and
Yeah, we've had
being
some
honest.
clunkers.
we've had some
So
fucking
you guys
idiots
have
who said a
done
lot of
very
stupid
well.
shit, and it's like, really, dude? I mean,
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
So yeah, kudos to both you guys. You have a long stay ahead of you here at SCB, unless of course ESPN or somebody comes calling, and we'd never get in the way of that. What regular season of
So
season
there's a
finale of
tweet.
Dope
Somebody
Fiend.
threw a weed pen at Pat McAfee on the stage, the ESPN stage, and he took a hit from it. And
Terrific.
after he took
Terrific.
the hit, he offered it to Mike McCarthy, who was like, "No, I'm good, thanks."
Mike McCarthy's there?
Wow.
What's going on?
He's doesn't have a job right now, so yeah.
Oh, that's right. He didn't.
Oh yeah, here it is right here. Takes a hit of a weed pen on live TV and even offers Mike McCarthy a hit as well.
Take a picture of Steel Dad reading that. Fucking hanging loose.
Hey, I needed my spectacles.
Aaron,
It's
clip
like-
that for our TikTok.
McCarthy's reaction's pretty fucking funny
Steel
though.
Dad
It
was
is.
like
He's
this.
like, "Yeah, I'm good. Hey, I'm good."
Steel Dad was like this. Pat
Yep.
McAfee
Pat's like,
takes a-
"No, I'm
takes
good.
a
I'm
hit
retired. Fuck off."
off the weed pen and hands it to Mike McCarthy. He's from Greenfield.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that'll go well.
The Scarps impression of Steel Dad was pretty goddamn.
That was better than my own.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. That was
The
better.
glasses
Really good.
pushed down, and that was.
Oh yeah,
great.
that was outstanding. I love.
Whatever.
Well, it'd be nice if the fucking Chiefs would make a pick here.
They're drafting Mahomes
They
again.
probably picked 5 minutes ago, and the
I-
NFL is just trying to stretch it out as long as they
Right.
can because they got to sell advertising. This is the thing
Yep.
that's annoying about the fucking
Oh no,
draft process.
I told my wife the same thing. She's like, Why do they take so long?" And I said,
Like,
"It's all about the advertising dollars. That's all it is."
we knew what the fucking Steelers pick was 10 minutes before it was announced. I
Yeah.
mean, my God.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Scarp, send him a text.
Excuse me.
Hey, thanks,
I
Chris. Appreciate that
feel
text, that
like-
tweet.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to be here in the next month.
I feel like Rodgers is going to
Oh,
be here the next
God.
day. I feel like Aaron's going to be here in the next day to try and draw some attention away from Green Bay. Now that the Steelers did not select a quarterback, he's going to be like, all right, well, now I'm the unquestioned guy. You would have been anyway, dickhead.
Man, unbelievable.
So the one I'm gonna leave it at this, and I'll probably tweet this tomorrow, but I'm gonna share it with our audience and you guys
right.
first because that's the most important.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin said that Derek Harmon has Steelers DNA, and that is music to my fucking ears because having Steeler DNA and winning is greater than aura and vibes and whatever bullshit. And I'm serious. I'm serious. Like
He's
I know
an
I've been
angry
joking.
Scarps.
I know I've been joking. I know I've been joking about this. But it's true. Like somewhere along the line, aura and vibes.
Shadur Sanders is
and
not
the-
getting drafted
and
in the first round.
the individual became more important than the Steeler way and winning and culture and DNA. So to hear that from Mike Tomlin, I feel very encouraged by it. Everybody
Yep.
says I'm a hater, whatever
You
you
are.
want to call it. That's
It's
fine.
true.
But I feel good about hearing that out of
I agree.
a head coach
Yeah.
who knows he has struggled,
Yeah.
and he hopefully landed the next generation of Steelers like a Cam Hayward. And I know Cam hasn't been part of much winning, but that doesn't mean that this next group can't be that. So
Can we talk about the fact that Mike and Omar and Art and maybe Andy Weidel learned a lesson from taking Kenny Pickett in the 2022 draft? Can we talk about that? Because that was the thing. I don't know about you guys. I was worried about that. Like all fucking week, I was worried about the fact that they were going to repeat that mistake and take a guy in the first round who was a mediocre talent and then pass on quarterback talent next year in a much better class because they already have their fucking guy. It's like, let's start planning for the long term.
Yeah.
Let's start planning for what are we doing? I appreciate the fact that Mike and Omar and Art learned their fucking lesson.
These comments, you guys in the chat are the best.
You guys are awesome. Every
I did
goddamn-
I did yard work today, and I wore a hat, and it gave me a headache, and it was hot out.
Oh, Josh
So, like,
Simmons went to the Chiefs.
So like I didn't want to wear a fucking hat anymore. And
Oh, I
so
see. Yeah, that makes sense.
let the hate flow through you.
I mean, after what happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I completely understand the Chiefs taking an offensive lineman.
Yes.
Rattel, that's a really good comment.
That's outstanding. Yeah. And
Mark,
believe
you
me,
gotta
there's plenty
read the
around there at
comment
Lambeau too. I'll tell you right now.
for the people who just listen and don't watch, you got to read the comment.
Yeah.
Well, Rattel said Shador and Milrow going to a Wisconsin titty bar. I already like it. I'm the third guy. I'm driving.
Milrow is at least. I think Shador's down in Texas or something like that.
No, I think Shador's there. They were showing pictures of him. What?
Nah, he's in Texas.
Okay.
Shador is a great example of aura and vibes. Do not get.
Is Milrow the only one left in the green room, or are there other guys left?
I don't know.
I'd have to look.
So based on our SCB big board,
Yeah.
Will Johnson, Nick Eamon-Worry, Luther Burden, Trey Amos, Donovan Izaraku from Boston College, and then our number 32 prospect. Oh, wait, these are out of order. Which was Mike Green from Marshall, who had really good tape, but went on no visits and had a ton of off-field question marks.
Yep.
So we were like, we'll put him at 32 on our board to be like, his tape is good, but there's some serious question marks with this dude.
Man.
So
Yeah.
Cleveland has the first pick tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yep.
and we should absolutely trade George Pickens to Dallas for
Please
their
God.
number 44 pick.
Oh man.
And then take a wide receiver or running back or whatever, you know?
Yeah. We have been entertaining you, and you've been entertaining us for the last 2 hours and 38 minutes. And I'm
Dude,
just glad you.
What if
you
Cleveland
guys,
takes
you know,
Shador Sanders tomorrow morning?
That would be
Tomorrow
fucking
afternoon.
hilarious.
Hey,
It would be
I don't.
awesome.
It would be fantastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities.
It's not. It's really not.
And then he'll go from being the Steelers' savior to ha 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 LOL no cap, he sucks, he's a Brown.
Right? The same people will be saying that shit too.
Oh, well, what they will say is that he sucks now because he went to Cleveland and they made him suck.
Right.
That'll be their rationale.
Right. Oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah, we said the
traded
same thing
Casey
about
for
Burrow when he got
evil
traded-
Scarps.
When he got drafted by
Yeah.
evil.
All right. I'm cutting it off. We'll be
I'm
back
outta
tomorrow night.
Call
Roughly
God.
around 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we're-
Check your social.
Okay.
But we'll definitely be back tomorrow night and discuss everything that's going on. I assume there's going to be some movement tomorrow. There always is for day 2. second, third round. But thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are just absolutely fantastic. I know we say that a lot, but we mean it. You guys are great, and thank you very much. We had some new people pop in tonight. We encourage all of you to do that. Please keep doing it, and please like, subscribe, all that other wonderful stuff. And we will see you again tomorrow night. And just to close out, we're very happy with the Steelers selection of Derek Harmon at 21. And I guess I'll just leave by saying, go Steelers.
Ravens suck. You know it really, man.
Yeah, for God's sakes.
Come on, Ben.
Try it again, Ben. You're cutting out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said Ravens suck. Even
There
though
we
they
go.
really
Okay.
There we go.
Good night, everybody.
Like,
Fuck the Browns too.